Well, I usually read through the agenda first anyway, right? Isn't that the- But good practice, though.
Me to get my exercise because I'm old.
Get your steps in.
Okay, good evening and welcome to the Littleton Board of Selectmen meeting for Monday, April 22nd, 2019. Proposed agenda for the evening starts with 6:30, organization, pledge of allegiance, read the mail, 6:35, department updates, and we have with us Department of Elder and Human Services Director Liz Tretiak to discuss proposed assistant director position, 6:55. Or thereabouts. We will have public input as well as member updates. We have a number of posted public hearings which have to occur at the time they are set for. First one, 7:15, public hearing for an entertainment license application from Chung Sing Inc., DBA Taka. 7:30, public hearing to transfer all alcohol restaurant license. Littleton Restaurant Group doing business as Orchid Blossom. Public hearing for common victual license application, Littleton Restaurant Group doing business as Orchid Blossom. 7:45, a public hearing, new all-alcohol restaurant license, Salute, doing business as Salute at 1204 Constitution Ave. Public hearing as well for a new wine and malt package store license, same applicant, Salute. Public hearing for common victuals license, also for Salute, and a public hearing for an entertainment license for Salute. At 8:15, estimated, our continuation of our marijuana licensing working group discussion, request for information, and with anticipation of a vote tonight. 8:30, interim town administrator update. Our interim town administrator has been supplanted by our interim town administrator, Steve Venuti, tonight. Anthony's not with us, but we will address the annual and special town meetings. We need to do our article assignments. 8:30, minutes at 10 o'clock, executive session, value of land litigation strategy regarding Cooper Farm. We will be joined by counsel. I'm going to add in there between the minutes and executive session, we actually have executive session minutes, so I would suggest that when we enter into executive session, the first order of business would be to approve the executive session minutes from prior meetings and then continue on to the other posted meetings. So with that, I would ask our Vice Chair, Selectman Knox, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Interim clerk.
Interim clerk.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, terrific. Steve, did Anthony leave anything in terms of mail that needed to be
Nope,
forwarded? Okay.
nothing.
Good enough. We can move on from that. The updated position, Assistant Director, Department of Elder and Human Services. Are you prepared to jump right in on that, Liz, or is there any kind of prep? My norm is to defer first over there if there's any kind of prep we need before it.
I would defer.
There you go. Good move. Thank you. Anyway,
I think you have the job description.
we do.
in the package, okay.
Yes,
And so I can jump right in?
yes.
Okay. So the EHS department, in my opinion, runs very lean. Right now, we have 3 full-time positions, the director and 2 outreach worker positions. In addition to that, we have 6 van drivers who rotate throughout the week and a 15-hour-a-week administrative assistant position. And we're a very busy department. In March alone, we helped 333 unduplicated residents in town. We had almost 900 event sign-ins at different activities that we had. And we also manage the senior tax work-off program that has 130 plus workers all looking for jobs throughout the town. So we're incredibly busy. So after observing how the department operates for the past year, it's clear that we need to have a little more in terms of management and supervisory capacity. So having an assistant director of EHS solves a couple problems for us. One, it solves a problem of office coverage. So there's somebody there at all times, a backup person if the director's off-site, to answer questions for the van drivers, the staff, the tax workers, the volunteers. There's somebody assigned backup. Number two, it lets the outreach workers focus solely on outreach and not get bogged down by all these other tasks. And three, it provides some succession planning for the future. Now, the assistant director will take on all the tasks that the outreach workers were doing in addition to all of their social work duties. So managing the transportation, program implementation, providing the office coverage, and still doing some overflow outreach, whatever that comes their way. I think sometimes it's not clear what we do to other people who are outside of our department. People consider us just the senior center, but in reality, we're a fully functioning social service agency within a municipality, and we're incredibly busy. And just for the safety of our clients and our residents, having a clear designated reporting structure of management, I think is key. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
And again, this has the blessing of the personnel committee and the,
Yes, it does, it has gone to vote.
And it's budget neutral.
yeah, I see that. In the structure as you're presenting it here, that it changes the, obviously, or it provides for your line of chain of command, but doesn't really address any of the, the workload issues. Is that something you're planning to come back at us again in next year's budget cycle? Or?
Yeah, eventually.
Okay, all right.
So the outreach workers, the two of them, were doing outreach tasks and all of this reporting and data and statistics and office coverage and managing the transportation program. If I take all of that and designate it to one person, instead of having the two people do it on top of social work, I think it'll be more manageable. But you'll see me again.
What others?
I just love the honesty.
Got a plan for the future.
Helps to know. Yeah. Chase?
No, no comment.
Okay. All right, that probably went easier than you expected, huh? Well, actually, we were, it cost us.
Budget neutral, it's pretty easy sell,
Yeah, you had me at net 230
Yeah,
in
right.
the town.
Not just budget neutral, we're making money.
Budget neutral for this year. For this year, right. Okay, no, that's great, it's great, appreciate your presence of mind to recognize that that's, you got enough activity going on there that things can't just dissolve when you're not on the premises, and
Yeah.
I think it's appreciated. Marge, anything you want to add before we
Oh,
take a
no, I'm
motion?
just here for,
Support?
yep.
Think yes or an answer,
I
right?
think it's a great idea, though, because it's, yeah, it can be very chaotic up there, so.
All right, I would entertain a motion, we've got one presented for us.
Move the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the request to change one of the outreach worker positions to an Assistant Director of Elder and Human Services.
Second.
And the motion's been made by Selectman DeCoe, seconded by Selectman Knox. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Very good. Continue good work, please. All right. Okay, we have a little time, we're probably gonna be able to get rid of some of these items before our hearings, but why don't we just jump right into the public input member updates then?
Mr. Chair, if we get to article assignments, we can just give Cindy everything.
Chase, you might just take it. And so, by the way, Cindy did indicate she's gonna be coming a little late for anybody viewing in television land, but, well, we probably should wait on that one. I was gonna say we could move that up in the order. We probably should wait till Cindy gets here, so everybody has a chance to pick what they want. But anybody here that's looking to speak under public input, if people come in later, I'll obviously give them the chance, since we weren't anticipating addressing it this early. Other than that, I'll move around to member updates, starting, I guess, on that side of the table. Selectman Knox?
I have two things. The first one, before I get to the one about Porter Road, I think, I forgot who put it on Facebook, but looking at it was a view from above from all the athletic fields,
Yes.
before and after.
Kim
Lynn, Kim
put
Lynn.
it on, yeah.
I just, to everyone out there, I hope people can take a look at that and see what field is actually done, and what all the other fields, the conditions of those other fields are so much better now because of that field. And for the young parents who have kids that are using that field, they should appreciate what they have, because before that, kids were playing on dirt and rocks and whatever, so they want to do that. The other quick topic is that Porter Road has the only stagecoach bridge in town. And back in the 250th anniversary, it was a big, they made a presentation, everything else. Since that time, it actually got overgrown, and I have some pictures of what it looked like just not too long ago. You can't even see the bridge at all, and thanks to the work of our highway department, this is what it looks like today. And that's a lot more, people can appreciate that it's the original bridge with some modifications. At one time, when I was a kid, I'm gonna date myself now, this part of Porter Road became a dirt road that went across the bridge and went all the way around. That open field wasn't there. Be quiet.
You're setting yourself up there.
Yeah, I know. But I just thought this was something that, for the 300th anniversary, and I was part of the 300th anniversary, that got neglected completely, and it is a historical spot in town. I just want to, once again, thank the highway department. What a difference that made for that area. That's it.
That's it?
Yep.
Okay. Selectman DeCoste?
No, I'll echo what Joe said on both counts. There are a lot of hidden jewels in Littleton that do or have been overgrown, and it'd be nice if we can kind of attack more and more of them. There's a lot of walls and old farm structures that it'd be nice for us to be able to expose them along some of the trails and whatnot. As far as the fields are concerned, although the alumni complex with Jet Field and the rectangular field, the flat field, were renovated, it's the impact that it's had on all the other grass fields has been significant. And you know, the extra growing season that the middle school field got, and the investment that we made up at the high school to bring those fields all back to playability. And this year, Kerper Field is actually being rested, and it will be in better shape next year. So it's kind of following along the plan that we had laid out. And again, the highway department and our parks crew has been doing a great job with that.
Great. Anything further? Chase?
Two things, one administrative and one community focused. First is letting folks know, a reminder for folks, the second community cleanup day is gonna be this Sunday, Parks and Rec. I think it's Sunday, yeah, Sunday, April 28th. Parks and Rec is leading the charge on that. Last year, I don't even know how much garbage, untold amounts of garbage was cleaned up across town. So Sunday, April 28th, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., community cleanup through Parks and Rec. See the website, see the Facebook posting, so on and so forth. The other is our contract with Nina. Do you want to take that up now?
I was going to do that under interim town administrator.
Okay, that's fine, we'll take that up later. Although I suppose maybe we can move that up now, so.
Yep.
so-
Okay. I have a few items. Kudos to, once again, I don't mind repeating this message annually, our robotics team has had a wonderful winter and spring with all sorts of first place finishes, and they're off, I believe, tomorrow for World Championships in Detroit. Is that right? Is there anyone here in the audience who knows offhand? Tomorrow, the 24th? I believe they are, so
You're right.
continued good luck to those folks, young folks that are doing us proud. Last Friday, had a great opportunity to speak and be a part of the ceremony at Liberty Square for the Patriots' Day ceremony, and you know, it was a good chance to reflect on over the past year how active history has been in town. Whether you look back, you know, it was less than a year ago when we purchased the Baker homestead, and you know, we have been making some work on that, some progress on that. Look forward to coming in after town meeting with our working group to update the board, but also the work that's been done to rediscover the achievements and the accomplishments of Dr. Enoch Dole, who was killed at the Battle of Dorchester Heights, kind of largely forgotten by Littleton and never got his due with the Purple Heart, and that ceremony, Cindy, I guess is August 8th. Cause
Oh, it
it's
is? Okay.
This is a national day. I saw Donna White on Friday.
good, okay.
I offered your services to help with her on that.
Great,
so,
yeah, perfect.
yeah, I know you had brought that to our attention earlier. And then, of course, more recently, with a grant from our what's the outfit that distributes anyway, the Historic Society and some of the folks put on the production of the Unitarian Church, taking a lot of Old Town Meeting records from the 1700s and put on a dramatic presentation, which is terrific. Unfortunately, it was captured on tape by Littleton Cable Television, and they're selling it. So that's why I was wondering why it wasn't available for demand on LCTV.
Okay.
But fortunately, they're going to use it as a fundraiser first, and that'll be available. It's our cultural council that helped fund that. So a lot of people participating to bring the town's history, out of the dusty archives and out in front of the public in meaningful ways. So I wanted to give credit there too. This is both an interesting note and then also a bit of a troublesome note too. Board members are aware that over the past week or so, the Hulu television show Castle Rock, Stephen King-inspired production, has been doing some filming on Tehadawon Road, and we're still working out the kinks, I guess, I should say, with making sure that they're doing their part to notice the town and work with Chief Pennard and others, because we've had, legitimate complaints from commuters who are unaware of road closures and those sort of issues, and hopefully that's something that can be worked out. Because I'll tell you, I just did talking to restaurant owners in the area, since they were filming, the bars, pubs and restaurants were loaded up with crews and extras and all the like, so there is a positive impact to having filming in town, other than just the zing factor. But, there's only so much residents can put up with too. And I know, Chuck, you raised the issue, Joe, you did too, through emails when you heard from people. So I don't know if you want to speak to that or not, but I want the public to know that we're aware of the inconveniences that have been brought up by that, and we want to make sure that we're going to do our best to address them.
I had a phone call, I think it was on Friday night, and the phone call, I didn't listen to it till the next day, but I can understand how people could be upset who live next door when lights and noise are going on at 10 o'clock at night. And I didn't get a phone call till 10:30, so there's no reason that residents should have to have those kind of problems. And I think some of the problem is that we all, as far as I know, we only had one.
Right.
This board had one email and never heard another word about it. And then today, a truck also showed up that no one knew about. And I'll let you bring that up because it was brought up to your attention. But I think, in my viewpoint, we can bring it up to Anthony. I think before they come back again, they should come in and talk to us, because I think some things that are our fault that slipped by that shouldn't have slipped by. But at the same time,
Yeah.
one email and that was it, and they make the comment that they're working closely with the town.
Yeah, they were given approval, frankly, without us even being aware. We're kind of made aware after the fact, so folks want to be mad at us, go right ahead, but we kind of got into the loop late.
The only thing I'll add is that when I became aware this morning, reached right out to the police department, and Chief Pennard was right on it, and he had I think he himself and Officer Boussier went down and kind of addressed it immediately, so.
Sergeant Boussier, is he an officer? Sergeant? Yeah, Sergeant.
Didn't I say sergeant?
He's an officer. I don't want him to get all worried out there.
I'm just impressed that I didn't say Bruce. Just to piggyback,
Yeah.
that kind of puts that to bed. So we're aware of it, and we welcome, we want more filming in Littleton, and to your point, it does bring some patrons to our businesses, so that's a great thing. But to piggyback on your robotics thing, I actually just pulled up, they are headed out to Detroit tomorrow for the Worlds, and they have a couple opportunities for fundraising, so anybody that wants to make any kind of donation whatsoever, they have a GoFundMe page. The team number is 6328, so I'm sure if you search for that, but they also have, their website is littletonrobotics.org, and then /donate if anybody wants to help support them.
Terrific, thank you. Chief, did you want to add anything on the filming, Castle Rock?
Yeah, I would like to add a little bit to that. They've been very, very responsive to the police department. We've had several meetings with them. One of them, I'm not sure how the board did not get in that email loop, but they have been in touch with us, along with other members. So I will orchestrate a meeting if you'd like, Joe.
Well, I think Joe's request is not a bad one, but get them in on the next agenda meeting if they can come in, Not only just for us to see them, but for the town to, to hear them too.
I'll be more than glad to orchestrate that for you.
That's fine with me.
Yep. I'm on it tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, the last item I had, and this is, I guess Chris is not here, Anthony's not here, but ever since the MBTA did the repaving around the train intersection at the depot, chief, I don't know if you, the fire chief, I don't know if you guys have noticed, whenever it rains, it pools instantly, terrible drainage, and it's, I've got complaints on it, and I got a video clip sent to me over the weekend, so we gotta revisit with our friends at the MBTA, but, I don't know who would be the principal contact for them. Would that have been Anthony or Chris, do you think?
We have a contact direct with them. Dan Rule, Bob Rowley, son-in-law,
Oh,
actually is in charge of the site down there, so.
is he? Okay, well, we need to revisit that, because when they did their work, I mean, they may not be aware of it, they left the paving they left is created a big pool in front of Fallon's and that whole intersection.
Yeah.
All right. And so, if you don't mind being the point person on that? All right, your boy coming back from vacation, you're
Right.
full of energy, chief.
Recharge. There you go.
Okay, Cindy?
Thank you for mentioning Mechanical Advantage and the robotics team, how wonderful they're doing. I'm kind of sad that we weren't participating in a fundraiser this year. I actually had a wonderful memory coming that popped up on the pie in the face, of Chief Bernard last year, delivering my pie in the face. So congratulations to them. I'm happy to hear they're doing well. I did want to mention there's a fundraiser for a great organization in town called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. I know that Selectman DeCoste has been volunteering there often on the weekends. It's the Middlesex chapter of an organization called Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and they build beds for children in our community who don't have a bed, if you can believe that. There's actually children in Littleton sleeping on the floor. And they've delivered many beds right here in Littleton and surrounding communities. So there is a fundraiser for them at the VFW this Saturday night. It starts at 7 o'clock. There's raffle prizes and all sorts of other things. Blues Connection's going to play. And so if anyone is looking for something to do or wants to support a great cause, please feel free to stop into the VFW this weekend and support that wonderful organization. It's spearheaded by Chris Alphin, who owns Dolphin Insulation, and they've really done a remarkable, incredible job getting more notoriety and getting that off the ground and helping kids right here in our community. So,
Great, thank you.
If anybody knows of anybody that needs a bed, they don't necessarily have to be in Littleton, but you can, even if you can't find the chapter through the website, just notify the Board of Selectmen, and we'll make sure we get in touch with the right parties. And he coordinates with some organizations like the Wish Project out of Chelmsford that provides services, furniture and housing and things for families that are coming from homelessness into a shelter, then they come out of a shelter into some sort of housing. That's the Wish Project. It's a different not-for-profit organization, but Chris works with them to make sure that each of those children have beds. It's pretty humbling.
it's a good word.
Okay, all right, if there isn't any other member updates or public input, we're still plenty of time between now and our first scheduled public hearing. I'm going to suggest we go to our interim town administrator agenda item, and we have two action items on there now. As Chase had pointed out earlier, we have the revised contract for Lena Nazarian, which the board's familiar with the reason for the rewrites there, and obviously you're involved in that as well. If we take a vote on that, I can sign it, we can have her sign it when she's next back in town. Everybody seen that?
Yep, Tom circulated it. He indicated to me this afternoon that he hadn't received any comments from anyone,
Yep.
and I was good to finalize it,
Okay.
accept the edits, and it's pretty good.
So I just need the voted authorization to go ahead and sign it?
Before we get
Yes.
to that, one other clarifying thing. So this will supersede the contract that we signed with her.
That
A
should
month and a
probably
half
be made
ago or
part
something like
of the motion.
We can make it part of the motion to formalize it in writing. There'll be a separate memo from town council's office to Nina
Okay.
establishing that her previous contract is now void, so it'll be in writing as well.
Very good.
So I would move that the Board of Selectmen authorize the chair to sign the contract, the revised contract with Nina Nazarian, and rescind the contract we signed on March 11th, 2019.
Second.
Okay, the motion's made by Selectman Gerbig, seconded by Selectman DeCoste. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, I'll go ahead, should I sign this and what, give it to who?
Nina needs to sign it, and then there's
Should we give it back to you, Ann, and you can hold on to it?
cast of
Okay.
characters. Town clerk, I think Steve's got to sign it.
Yeah. And for the
Town
public,
council, I think, has to sign it.
if the board is curious, there's really nothing nefarious here. We actually just adopted some language that we weren't aware was in not compliance with our own bylaws that were adopted in 1982, so we had to make changes that made it consistent with town bylaw. And Nina didn't have any problem with that.
Doc Wiskowski has to sign it, and there's a lot of names there.
There's a lot of names there, yeah. But only Paul gets to sign it.
Yeah, I know, I noticed that.
Okay, yeah, just one place in each one, is that right?
That's right.
Thank you. Okay. If you, since we still have 20 minutes, we can go to, I guess, item 8A, our article assignments, and take a stab at that.
You want to tell Cindy that we assigned the articles already?
Yeah, you weren't here. Chase offered
should
that
know
we should give-
better.
We should give them all to you, and I offered that you'd probably take them all.
I probably would.
But we would rather have folks jumping in where they want to jump in. So, are you prepared to get this all recorded, Steve, as we,
All set.
all right. So, some of them don't require any board presentation. We did have a,
Matrix?
yeah, there was a matrix. Is that something you have? Yeah, yeah. There's a spreadsheet that it was emailed out to us, I believe, the day after our last meeting 2 weeks ago, right? So,
Was that night?
was it that night? Okay. A late meeting, though.
It might have been.
Is that something you're
Early
able
in
to
the
pull up,
morning?
Steve, or not?
It's not cooperating.
Ah. I'll give him a minute to see if I can, or if any board member can too, that's the same.
Trying to find it.
There we go. All right.
Oh, perfect.
Terrific. All right, so, following that as a guide then, folks, town offices, town reports, financial articles, the revolving funds, operating budget. We should have members assigned for those, even though FinCom will be presenting them, correct, I'm assuming. Excluded debt, water enterprise fund is not ours. But for articles, say, 6, 7, 8, do we want to have a board member prepared to speak to 6, 7, and 8? Those, again, would be presented by FinCom, I'm assuming. Chuck's gonna grab those.
Probably gonna take 10, right, Joe?
Oh, see, I was looking at special time, we're talking about annual, right?
Yeah, we'll start at the annual, because that's just what's on the screen.
What's 10?
But, all right, so everyone's okay with Chuck taking 6, 7, and 8, and if we're called upon for any response on that? 9, again, that's the operating budget for the water department, not us. 9, 10 is Joe?
Oh, I'm sorry, Chairman.
Yes.
Community preservation budget? Or am I getting
We
confused?
haven't got down that far yet.
Oh, okay.
We're back up at 10.
All right, 10's mine.
I think Cindy's talking about 9.
9.
Oh, 9. No, 9 is,
That's not,
I'm looking at, you know what, I'm looking at the outer column.
Oh, you're looking at that.
Yes, right, it's line 12, Article 9,
Oh, I
correct, I'm
see.
sorry.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah, no, sorry.
So back up there, what Joe was assigned then was Article 7, right? The Park and Rec, is that the one you were looking for?
Joe,
I get the personnel.
Oh, the personnel, all right, so it was Article 10.
we were all good. You were off.
All right, what I intended for you to get, Chuck, were what's, I guess it would be Articles 3, 4, 5, right, which,
Just toss them on there as well, because it's all
Look,
kind of.
The one thing, the one he has is about this long, so, is it 8, the one that has all the capital?
8 is the capital,
In,
yes.
in years gone by, was actually split that
Yeah,
up
we
because
broke that, yeah.
Which one is that?
Article 8
Capital?
has all the capital
Yeah.
items, so there's
It's
gonna
like
be.
20 items.
Well, as I say, I wasn't even thinking we were referring to those when I talked about, so I haven't got to that yet. 7 and 8, let's go back there. There's 7, the Park and Rec Community Education Enterprise Fund operating budget. It's, Alicia will present it, I assume, or one of the commissioners. So one of us want to be prepared to back up? I guess we don't have to, it's not our article.
It's not ours.
Yeah. 11, okay, now, Article 8, line 11, capital items. How many subgroups do we have under there, Steve?
There's quite a few.
There's 1A through E, 2A through C,
Yep.
and 3A through,
So I guess let's look at them by pieces, see if we want to divide it up that way. Police department, fire department, those go together. Highway, I mean, they can go together, I guess I'm saying. Cemetery, Park and Rec. It's all rolling stock for the most part through Section 5, right? And 6, for that matter.
I mean, there could be individual questions. If we call the articles, somebody may want to pull out individual
Right.
items.
Okay, well, let's do them by, someone want to be responsible for the backup on the police department?
I'll do police.
Joe, okay. Fire department,
I'll do fire.
okay. Highway, I'll do highway, and look at that in a while. Schools are the schools. Cemetery is cemetery. Park and Rec, and their outfits.
Cemetery commissioners will speak to cemetery.
What's that? Yeah,
Cemetery
that's what I'm saying,
commissioners.
yeah, we don't really need to be ready for that.
If, in the event that there's not a cemetery commissioner there, Steve, if you want to put my name next to that just as a backup,
Cemetery.
yeah.
Okay.
Cemetery, that's good.
Park and Rec, they'll be there, somebody will be there. Facilities and infrastructure. Since it includes space needs, I would hope that Cindy or Chuck will. you wanna-
Sure, I'll speak to it.
Okay, so
you
this,
guys want me to take MS4 and Mill Pond?
Yes.
yep, there you go, that's good. So Cindy.
Cindy has A and B.
A and B, and Chase can take C and D, and you want to keep going on that?
I can
E
take
as
the
well?
Lake, I can take
Yep.
Lake Mattawanna. Cindy, do you want the age-appropriate housing?
That seems right. As well
Yeah,
as the master
yes.
plan implementation land use, right? So the F and G, although you're on the master
Yeah, I
plan
mean,
committee.
I think that could be either of us.
Right,
Chase
mean,
can
Frank-
take G.
Yeah.
there you go.
I'll
G.
take it.
Actually, with that, I'll take G. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Got all that?
Oh, sure.
All right. 9, Community Preservation Committee. We don't have a rep to the CPC, do we? Does anyone want to be prepared on that one? You know what, I'll take it. Actually, because it's got some historic preservation stuff there. I've been working on the Baker Group.
There's some park and rec stuff on there too.
Yeah, you're right, it does. So.
On 9. That's the Affordable Housing Trust Fund too, right?
Yes, you're right.
Somebody's been doing their homework.
Hold on, let's-
Stashed in there, I forgot.
Yeah, so CPC's got 9 different
yeah.
subcategories.
Um,
Most of them are administrative.
So 7.
So how do we want to handle that? Do we want to break that one up too, the CPC, or just have one person do the CPC article?
So do you want to take all of 9, or do you want to?
No, let's break it up.
Okay, so
Sure.
the first 6 subparts to it are all,
Mostly
yeah,
administrative.
administrative money shifting around. 7 is the Affordable Housing Trust Fund, that's obviously yours, Cindy, right?
Right.
8, town building space needs, again, it's either you or Chuck, right?
You want you, for 9, 1 through 6, Steve, you can put me up there. 9, 7,
My page is screwed up here, yes, I do, that's what happened to me.
9, 7 would be Cindy, right?
Yeah.
And I'll take 8 and 9. To kind of keep it some continuity.
Okay,
All right.
there we go, all right, there we go. These things are numbered and I can't sort them out, that's pretty sad.
This new
Okay.
technology thing is, you can kind of keep up with it the whole time.
My laptop broke, did I tell you that? I gotta buy a new one. By the way, I'm looking for advice. Anyone wants to tell me good advice? Under Article 10, I assume that's Joe's, right? Yes.
Personnel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Board of Selectmen stabilization, capital stabilization.
Yeah, I'll do that.
We're gonna call the articles, but trust fund commissioners,
That's 11? Is that what it is?
11, 12, and 13 are,
I'll take those unless someone wants.
Board of Selectmen stabilization, capital
Right.
stabilization.
Yep.
And then,
I'm sorry about that.
13 is trust fund commissioners.
Okay.
You wanna pull that in or no?
Yep, might as well. So we're mumbling through, lumping together 10, 11, 12, 13.
Paul?
What's that?
10's Joe, 11,
Oh,
12,
I'm
and
sorry,
13.
11, 12, 13, yep. The tax
work
work
off-
abatement, but I mean, it doesn't matter if someone wants to take that, it's, usually doesn't get questioned, it's,
I'll take it.
Okay. Chapter 90, Article 15.
yeah, I took highway, so, you wanna take that?
I'm happy to take it, doesn't matter.
All right, sure, at this point,
Just haven't volunteered for much.
there you go.
I think Charlie Ellis and et al. Will be there for Article 16, but if we want to put a member of the Board of Selectmen on there, I'm happy to take it.
There you go, you've been a good advocate lately for reminding us of all they do. Zoning is not ours, right?
I say we let those guys sink or swim on their own.
All right, voter petition, that's not ours, rescind unused borrowing authority, I don't know that that's, what's the detail on that, Steve? Is that just, that's housekeeping, right?
Yes.
For, yeah, the special town meeting
Previous-
articles.
previous,
yeah.
right.
Right,
So we-
yeah.
Somebody want that?
Well, yeah, throw it in with the finance ones, I'll take that too, I'm sure we won't get questioned on it.
Article 19.
You want to, if we get questioned on 20, the citizens petition, we obviously won't present on
20
that.
and 21 probably, right, the home rule petition as well?
Yeah, right, yep.
My plan is only to be prepared to answer questions to the extent that members of the public have questions about how it impacts what we're
Yep,
proposing to do.
absolutely.
But you'll present 21 and 22?
Yes.
Okay, good. 23, that's on the moderator. And 24 and 5, I'll take those two, this is, I'm sure we won't get asked any questions.
Circling back to 21 and 22, just so that the board is aware, Paul and I, as the sewer team designates, have talked about what we intend to present there. We intend to keep it very, very brief. If I'm talking for more than 5 minutes on 21 and 22 collectively, probably I've gone too long.
I'll bring tennis balls.
Yes. In following up also on our very productive social meeting that we had and the directive we got from the board, we did have I thought, a pretty fulsome call with our consultants a day or two later, and
Folsom's an interesting.
yes, so
Isn't that Johnny Cash?
it was Charles Forbes K is who I'm quoting. He used to always use that at the town meeting every now and then. Oh, Folsom, not that Folsom. Oh, yeah. Folsom. But anyway, we heard you and we're acting on things.
Great.
To be
Uh,
yeah,
Special time.
special, right? Let's see, is that first or after? What do we have there for? Boy, if you'd left that up there, I could have read it, Steve. There you go.
Those are prior years, operating budget line item transfers, chapter 90 funds. It's, other than the number 5, 6, and 7, it's all probably called the articles.
Yeah.
So we just should put a name up there, I guess.
And 7 is the citizen petition again.
Right. So I would assume trustees are gonna speak to 5.
I hope so, yeah. And we don't have any voted position on that anyway, I don't believe, do we? Or do we?
The library?
Yeah,
I believe we do.
okay, all right, I mean, I'm in favor, I just
I
didn't know if it
don't
was.
know that we did.
I don't think we.
We didn't, because there was a member absent that night.
Yeah, I
Right.
was absent 2 weeks
So we
ago.
didn't, we held off on that.
Oh, yeah, we did.
I'm happy to speak to 6, special town meeting 6.
Sure?
Right, I was gonna ask you to, Chuck, I didn't know if, since Liz is here, if you wanted Liz
Absolutely.
to be,
Tag team?
yeah.
Does that mean you'll take 7 in the same way I'm taking the voter petition for the sewer, you know?
Yeah, right,
it'll
if
be
if
our-
questions
our
get
rep.
raised, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you present 6, and if there are relevant points to answer questions on 7. Cool. All right, so we're done, right?
Can you put that 7 in italics, though?
Then you have to go back and put mine in.
All right, you'll email that out to us so we can be reminded, and Anthony or somebody will alert the department heads to know if, well, Chief and Chief are here, but Chris is gonna, well, I'll find Chris or he'll find me. We need to get our updates from the various departments in question. In good shape. We're still a little bit shy of 7:15. But,
Want to do the RFI? Can we do the RFI in 2 minutes, Cindy? No?
No,
yeah, I would advise against that just in case there are people showing up, since we promised them that time. I thought about that too.
Thanks, Liz.
We could do the regular session minutes. Did we have any regular session minutes? Okay. And the executive session did have Anthony had raised a question. I had it clarified with council. It's completely within our purview to vote executive session minutes in executive session. Don't have to release them until any point in the future when we determine the issues that kept them confidential are no longer relevant. So I'm going to suggest that when we get around to the end of the meeting and do our executive session, we vote them at that time.
Absolutely.
So,
Amendment to that agenda. Just a simple amendment to that agenda.
Yeah.
It's under our purview.
yep. 7:15.
Just kind of lay out how the public hearing works.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, when we get to the public hearings, we're gonna open exactly at the time when they are posted. That's our legal obligation. I'll read the hearing notice. I'll ask for if there's any setup for it from our interim administrator, and if he doesn't have anything, then since Chief Bernard is our principal investigator on, laying the table for compliance in advance on any of these, see if he has any input, and then ask the applicant in the hearing mode to make their presentation, see if there's any public input, or probably first board questions, then public input. Then we'll close the public hearing, and then the board can go into deliberation. At that point, there won't be any more public input or interaction with the applicant unless the board has requested it by questioning, and then we'll take votes appropriately. And they each have to be done individually, although I've never seen this where we had 4, and in another case 2, all posted at the same time. I don't know what difference it makes. I guess I'll read the, well, we'll get to it at the time. I'll ask the board what the pleasure of the board is, but we can, I guess we'll probably have to do them each as independent public hearings. It's independent licenses, probably the way to go, but we can discuss that at that time. All right, I'm going to declare that it's 7:15, so why don't we move on to item 4 in our packet, which is the public hearing for an entertainment license application from Chung Sing Inc., doing business as Taka, 602 Constitution Ave. And I do have it here, Chuck. Here it is. I'm gonna read the posted notice. See if I find it. You wanna pull that up for me, Chuck? Okay, thank you. All right, legal notice, Board of Selectmen, public hearing, entertainment license application, Chung Sing Inc., doing business as Taka, 602 Constitution Ave, Littleton, Mass. 01460. The Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on Monday, April 22nd, 2019, at 7:15 PM in the Littleton Town Offices, Room 103, 37 Shattuck Street, Littleton, Mass., to act on the application for an entertainment license, Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 183A, as requested by Sharon Liu, manager of Chung Sing Inc., doing business as Taka at the property located at 602 Constitution Avenue, Littleton, Mass. Proposed entertainment will consist of a live band with the potential of patrons dancing and occasional stand-up comic performances. Non-live entertainment would include recorded music. Hours of live entertainment would be Thursday, Friday, And Sunday, 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Entertainment would take place on the premises in the Taka Bar throughout the year. During the months of May through October, there may be entertainment on the outside patio. A copy of the application is available on the Board of Selectmen Town Administrator Office, 37 Shattuck Street, Littleton, Mass. Comments thereon may be submitted in writing to the Selectmen Town Administrator's Office by noon on Wednesday, April 17, 2019, or in person at the hearing. Littleton Board of Selectmen, Paul Lady, Chairman. And I will declare the hearing open in terms of preliminary setup. Steve, do we have any instructions or any special note that you're aware of going into it?
Nope, nothing that I'm aware of.
Okay, Chief Pinard, do you want to?
We have no issues with them transferring that to an entertainment license whatsoever.
Okay.
They're very good and very receptive to everything we're doing.
Who is here to represent Taka?
Sharon's here.
There you go, yes. Come on, you can either pull a chair up and join us up front there, there's a microphone here, you can sit down, or you can, however you want to do it. There should be chairs there, so you're not required to sit, stand rather.
Sure, before we-
Right. Good evening, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. So, tell us what you want to do.
Sharon's looking to put it in to allow for live entertainment, so a band, or there might be stand-up comedy performances.
And I thought if I read it, sounded like nothing on Saturday, but did I read that?
Yeah, I did.
Just a misprint? or
Yeah.
It says Friday.
That's actually what, I went to the application, and it does just say Thursday, Friday.
Is that your intention? Because what was in the written notice, and you say it's in the application as well?
Yeah, it is.
That would be entertainment on Thursday, Friday, and Sunday from 7:30 to 11:30 p.m. Were you intending to skip Saturday, or did you?
Saturday was too busy to do that, so we only do like maybe once a week, so that either one of those days.
Okay. So you chose not to do Saturdays, it wasn't an oversight on our part, or?
Doesn't cost you anything more, you know? If you change your mind later, you have to come back and get this all changed, you see what I'm saying?
Can I add it in there just in case?
We can entertain a moment to, we can amend it on our own. All right?
Sure.
You gotta leave here with more than you expected.
No, like,
In all likelihood, right, that's- Okay, so do you have specific bands and comics in mind? You have an agent that you've already contracted with, or?
No, not yet.
We're looking mainly for local talent, so there's a few bands who have expressed interest, but it's all local.
Okay, and in terms of where in the building do you intend to do it?
Right in the bar,
In the bar.
but at the back, there's like a smaller space. We brought a picture if that
Okay,
helps.
that'd be helpful, actually, to get a look at.
But it's a small space, so it's not, like, I know it says dancing, but how many people could actually?
chair dancing.
Oh, this-
Thank you. Okay, so it's toward the parking lot, yeah, okay, I got you, yeah. There is good space there. You mentioned too about outside in the patio, I think that's, I don't even know, are we allowed to do that? We're not really, right?
We can't consume outside.
Yeah, we don't have patrons wouldn't be allowed to drink outside, that's outside of a bylaw, so. I
So
would.
they're not allowed to drink outside?
Right, yeah.
Okay, sure, then we won't do it then.
Yeah, I think we would probably want to, at a minimum, entertain an amendment on that part too. Let's see how things go inside, and if things
Sure.
change, that would require probably a lot more enforcement than is worth it to, to have people out there and then tell them they can't drink out there.
Are we allowed to put like tables on the patio? Like for
Yes, that's
dining?
what-
I don't know what's allowed under the present license.
So I just had some clarification with Stefan. They may, at some point, gate it off outside on the patio, kind of like Starbucks has their little corner. But at this point, it's just wide open, so I don't think it would be an outside venue.
Yeah, that might even actually be a question as much for the planning board as us. If it's not in your site plan,
If it's not in our liquor license that we signed, you know, when we signed the original liquor license, I don't recall, it was most of us sitting here, I don't recall us granting anything with an outside
in
license.
fact, I think the only place I can think of, there are two that specifically mention,
529 Cafe initially, it's now El Forno.
right, and then also the Tavern at the Square too, right? Those are
Yeah,
the,
very specifically.
yeah, that language was specific to them. We go, yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Chair. You can apply for a one-day outdoor entertainment
Sure,
license.
yeah, that's
which
right.
is-
But as far as licensing outdoor eating and drinking, we really,
On a regular basis,
yeah.
right, yeah.
Like, Anthony's Coal Fire has that as well.
they do, you're right, okay. But again, it's licensed specific for that, it was designed for that.
Courtyard.
If we ever came to that point too, I'd like to see them come in with a drawing showing
Right.
Yeah.
how it'll be
Yes.
roped off and how,
Right.
who's gonna be out there to see that
Right.
nothing's going over the lines.
Yeah. If you want to get serious on that point about outside, I think you're gonna have to get, somebody to do a design work for you and then either go through the building commissioner's office or whatever before you even come to address it in a license. You're gonna need to get so that the property passes muster from an inspection point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not saying that you won't be able to do it, we're just saying that that's not what we've already approved, so we just don't want you to have your servers setting up tables and serving people outside and then create a problem.
Okay. All right. It is a public hearing, so I'll ask if there's any members of the public that would like to speak to the application that's before us. No. Anything further that you wanted to add that's not in your application that hasn't come up yet?
I don't think so.
All right. Chief, did you want to describe for us have you inspected the site and met with them on this?
So we've been with them quite a bit. They've been very responsive to anything we've asked for, from video footage on certain items to sales receipts for a customer that was out of control one night. They've been more than willing to help out and work with us, so I would see no issue with them at all.
And there's been no licensing issues over the years?
None whatsoever.
Okay. Board members, any other questions before we close the hearing, get into deliberation?
Just one quick question. These nights you have down, is this something you're gonna do every Thursday, Friday, or Sunday, or just something you might do periodically?
I think she's looking for once a week.
Oh.
So
And it could be
either
one
a
of those
Thursday
nights?
night, either a Friday night or a Sunday night.
Okay. All right. Okay, then if there isn't any other input at this stage, I'll,
I mean, you can, I'll ask it now.
Yeah.
Do we typically do it through the end of the year, through the calendar year? Because it does say it's expiring December 31st, 2019.
I think that's
I
what
think we
we've,
do, right?
that's what we've done,
Okay.
yeah.
To get them on a schedule.
Yeah. I remember in the past, people came in very late in the year. One time, we gave them some sort of little hardship thing. They came in like October, November, right? It was past the midpoint year, but,
Okay.
yeah, you're gonna be paying for a whole year worth of permit for 8 months or whatever, but such is life, yeah.
You'll make it back on those comedian nights.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to close the hearing first.
So moved.
Second, sorry.
Motions have been made by Selectman Knox, seconded by Selectman Napoli to close the public hearing. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, board members, your pleasure.
Just the modifications we discussed
Yeah.
at Saturday and
Take out and on the patio.
Okay. All right. You understand that then? The two changes to your application then would be to add in Saturday as the day that you would have at your availability, and two, that at this point in time, until a more detailed plan is presented, there wouldn't be any entertainment, or for that matter, dining on the outside patio right now. But you're welcome to come back and revisit that. All right. Any further discussion, board members? Then entertain a motion.
Sure, I got it. Yep. Move that the Board of Selectmen vote pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 140, Section 183A, to approve the application of Chung Sing Inc., Sharon Liu Manager, DBA Taka, at 602 Constitution Avenue, Littleton, Mass., for an annual entertainment license expiring on December 31st, 2019, to allow live and recorded music performances and dancing by patrons on the premises in the Taka Lounge throughout the year within the hours of entertainment being Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 7:30 PM to 11:30 PM.
Second.
Okay, that incorporated both the changes?
It did, yeah.
Okay, great. You seconded that? Okay, motion's been made by Selectman Napoli and seconded by Selectman DeCoste to award the license with the duly noted 2 changes to the application.
1 second, Mr. Chair. It does not, the motion doesn't include the stand-up comic performances. Do we need to include that as well?
Entertainment.
I think the
Entertainment covers
inclusive
that,
of
perfect. All right, good.
That's the interpretation? Okay.
All right.
Thank you for catching that.
Maybe we amend it to say live entertainment and/or recorded music performances.
Okay.
Sure.
Is that amendment okay?
Yep.
Yeah, friendly amendment. Then we'll let the motion be amended to reflect that language. Okay, and you'll forward this along to
Yeah.
Anthony? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Continued good luck. It was great meeting at your place last Monday? It was great.
Thank you. Do you need a copy of the phone?
We already have it.
I have 2. I only emailed that one. I don't know which one should I.
Well, you know, if you're gonna give it to anybody, probably give it to Steve so he can put it in the file. I'll put it in the file too, but not the one you had in mind.
Less retrievable.
Right. Okay, good.
Ask
Thank
me
you.
about what renewal looks like.
Renewal?
Yeah, 'cause
Well, it should be pro forma, unless there's any issues, you'll get a form in, November, December, reminding you to apply for the next year. And if there aren't issues, you don't even have to come back and see us. Generally, we'll just, as long as the money, at that point, we're mostly interested in the money, As long as you pay, you're okay.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Timing is almost there.
Almost there. Weekly, so it reminded me one thing. Paul and I had a quick sewer meeting at Il Forno, and Mike has prepared something for the Board of Selectmen. He's doing a bunch of interior upgrades. I meant to
And
bring-
exterior too.
And exterior. I meant to bring it for you guys tonight, but
Yeah,
it's
it's a
sort of
booklet.
a
Cool.
booklet describing what he's doing, and I'll get that in your hands at some point, so you guys know what he's.
That's great.
he's up to.
Yeah, he's reinvesting in the property, but he can do even more if he gets a sewer. He wanna
Right,
make
yeah.
that known.
Yep.
All right, and the public, if you would just bear with us, we're legal bound, only act by the specific time stated, so we get another minute or 2 to wait. And I don't think there's anything in our agenda that can be dealt with that quickly. But we are looking at an early exit tonight. Oh, were you gonna go up to the Conscom meeting tonight, or?
Oh, yeah, it's tonight.
Yeah, what time do you remember that?
45.
7:45 is
Oh.
when it's adjourned.
Okay, all right.
I've marked up your copy. You want me to give it to Steve, or?
That's fine, yep. Okay, it is close enough to 7:30 that I'm going to open the public hearing. I'm going to read both of the legal notices, since they're both posted for 7:30, having to do with 2 different licensed activities at the same property, so bear with me. An abundance of overcaution, I think it's appropriate that I have to read them both. Legal notice, Board of Selectmen public hearing, application for transfer of all alcohol restaurant license from the 584 King Street Restaurant Corp., doing business as Yangtze River Restaurant, to Littleton Restaurant Group, Inc., doing business as Orchid Blossom, for 584 King Street, Littleton, Mass. 01460. Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on Monday, April 22nd, 2019 at 7:30 PM in the Littleton Town Offices, Room 103, 37 Shattuck Street, Littleton, Mass., to act on the application under Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 12, for the transfer of an all-alcohol restaurant license for premises at 584 King Street, Littleton, Mass., from the Yangtze River at 584 King Street, Inc., Robin Ong, manager, to Littleton Restaurant Group, Inc., doing business as Orchid Blossom, Alvin Wong, proposed license manager. A copy of the application is available in the Board of Selectmen, Town Administrator's Office, 37 Shattuck Street, Littleton, Mass. 01460. Comments thereon may be submitted in writing to the Selectmen Town Administrator's Office by noon on Wednesday, April 17th, 2019, or in person at the hearing. Also, we have a legal notice, Board of Selectmen Public Hearing, Common Victualers License Application, Littleton Restaurant Group, Inc., doing business as Orchid Blossom, 584 King Street, Littleton, Mass. Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on Monday, April 22nd, 2019, at 7:30 PM in the Littleton Town Offices, Room 103, 37 Shattuck Street, Littleton, Mass., to act on the application for a common victualer's license, Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 6, as requested by Alvin Wong, manager of Littleton Restaurant Group, Inc., doing business as Orchid Blossom, at the property located at 584 King Street, Littleton, Mass. The hours of operation will be 11:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m., Sunday through Saturday. A copy of the application is available in the Board of Selectmen Town Administrator's Office, 37 Shattuck Street, Littleton, Mass. Comments thereon may be submitted in writing to the Selectmen Town Administrator's Office by noon on Wednesday, April 17, 2019, or in person at the hearing. So I will conduct each hearing in succession independently. I'd ask the applicants, please come forward and grab yourselves a chair. I don't know if it makes any difference to you which one we deal with first.
Doesn't matter, we can do the license if you like for the alcohol.
Okay, that was first up on the list, so that's fine. So I will declare the public hearing, again, this is for the all-alcohol restaurant license transfer. I'll declare that hearing to be open. And Steve, is there anything in terms of opening preparation we need to be aware of?
Nope.
And prior to a recommendation, Chief, anything in the opening that we need to be aware of? Okay. And again, welcome, and please identify yourselves, and happy to hear your application.
Good evening. I'm Attorney Gary Sangenario. I'm representing the Littleton Restaurant Group, Inc., and I have with me Alvin Wong. Alvin's the manager and the principal in the business. In addition there, too, we have Mr. Douglas Resnick, who is seated behind us. Douglas is a consultant for the business and has had experience in the restaurant business for a number of years. Alvin, as well, has had extensive experience in the restaurant business. These are family-owned businesses, and he'll expand on that a little bit, but I think you'll find his experience is compelling for the things that he's done. This is in connection with a purchase of the property as well, so we have a family LLC, effectively. Principals involved are all family members, so it would be a purchase of the building as well, so that we'd have
You're
at
saying a
least...
transfer within the family or members of the acquiring group? are all
Acquiring,
family?
yeah, the acquiring LLC would be family members, yeah. So we'd have a lease between the LLC and the business.
But not a relation to the selling group?
Correct, yeah, that's correct, yeah, so. But we don't anticipate any landlord-tenant problems in that respect, so. Alvin can expand on his plans for the business, but I think they're laid out in a letter that I had sent to the board a while back, as well as in the application. But essentially, the main change here is an alteration of the premises that would involve construction of a bar on
Always been
the
licensed
bar
for
area.
it. Just,
Yep.
yeah.
And no change to total seating or total square footage. And we recognize that we'll need a building permit, for that work, that it will take place a little further down the road as we progress. Mr. Wong and Mr. Resnick have also had meetings with the building inspector's office, water and sewer representative, and I believe fire department as well. Fire department? Yeah, so just to clear the air on that, to make sure that they wouldn't have any objections. Obviously, they still need to see final plans. We have to submit an application and so forth, but the response that they got was very positive, that there would be no issues that they could see. Let's see, that's
Okay, I'll say this, that just, for the curious public, there is more detail included in your cover letter and the application, but I think people would be interested in knowing just exactly what you intend to do with the property and how it might look differently, how it might serve the public differently, and more about your background as well, too, Mr. Wong.
Okay, absolutely. Hi, my name is Alvin. I've been working in the family business for about 10 years now. I've been a busser, dishwasher, waiter, front desk, bartender,
At which restaurants?
all the locations throughout Massachusetts. We have about 8 locations right now, so been through it a lot. Also have a business degree from Bentley University. Worked in accounting for a few years, and then I just came back this year to work for the family business full time. And what we want to do at 584 King Street is we want to keep the same cuisine that Yangtze River offers, but also include more traditional Chinese dishes, leaning towards the Sichuan cuisine, which is a little more spicier food. And so hopefully with my family's resources and my knowledge, we can be able to do that.
Where is your nearest, the other restaurants go under, are they all go under Orchid Blossom, or is that just
No,
the parent company name?
That's actually a new restaurant name. Most of them are Bamboo or Mandarin.
Right, okay.
So Bamboo Westford is the closest one.
Yep. Okay. Board members, questions, Mr. Wong or Attorney Sanguinario? Okay.
It's pretty straightforward. I appreciate the, kind of walking us through the, just, kind of like a business plan almost. You step that out, and also looking at your plan for training staff on Serve Safe and having that up front rather than us having to make sure that you're aware of it, having the experience in the industry. Appreciate you being proactive about that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, yeah, that's a credit to them in the business in terms of how they've run things, and they've got very successful businesses, so they expect to be able to repeat that, at this location. And I think given the experience, when I looked at it myself, I wasn't sure exactly when I first started working with him. As I learned a little bit more, I could see that he's done everything from ground up. So I thought, what better way to learn any business, but in particular, the restaurant business. So I think the business will be well served by having him manage the operation.
And you expect to be on premises primarily during the week, during the day?
Absolutely. Minimum of 40 hours a week.
Chief Bernard Wodzinski, you want to opine?
No issues.
And you have had a chance to review the plans and the application?
Deputy has.
Okay, and your investigation, Chief Bernard, involved?
Bamboo runs an incredible operation in Westford. I checked on their background over there already. I don't foresee any problems with us. If they do, I'm sure we'll handle them accordingly.
Okay, great. Have you had issues with the liquor license in Westford? Any kind of violations or anything like that?
No.
Okay, great. All right, members of the public, any questions for the, again, this is the part of the, it's the hearing specific to the all-alcohol restaurant license transfer. And it sounds like in the intended operation plan, the Yankees always been licensed for a full alcohol. They just never chose to make their bar anything more than a service bar. And you're going to have it redesigned to be a 49-seat bar?
Yes, that's the plan.
Great. Okay. There aren't any other questions, board members? We can close the hearing then.
Also, nothing from the public?
No, I didn't see much. Okay. A motion?
Motion to close.
Okay, motion's been made by Selectman Coast, seconded by Selectman Gervich to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, deliberation of the board?
No questions, thank you.
I don't see. Yeah, the known
Covered all the
entity.
bases.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's that?
Covered all the bases, yeah.
You know the business, I mean, we don't have to, run through, as this, your application show, you anticipate a lot of the questions by a lot of the information you provided. Chuck alluded to that as well. Even though it's over the line in Westford, you're kind of a known entity to us, and we've always enjoyed with the Ong family and what they've done with the Yangtze River, and look forward to seeing what you folks can do, at the same property.
Thank you.
Look forward to that same level of Chief and I alluded to the fact that it's a well-run operation, it's clean facade, clean inside, so.
Absolutely. We look forward to being part of the community as well.
Terrific.
Excellent, yeah.
Good. All right.
Welcome.
All right, yeah. Then I will entertain a motion from the board.
Do you want to take it, Chuck?
Move the Board of Selectmen vote to approve application of Littleton Restaurant Group Incorporated, Alvin Wong, manager, DBA Orchid Blossom, for 584 King Street, to transfer an all-alcohol restaurant license under Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 12, from the Yangtze River at 584 King Street, Inc., DBA Yangtze River, to Littleton Restaurant Group, Inc., DBA Orchid Blossom, 584 King Street, for the sale of all alcoholic beverage Monday through Sunday from 11:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the premises. 9:30 p.m. was on the application. Is that, before I go any further with reading the motion?
That's great.
At the premises, current configuration described as a two-story building, approximately 8,767 square feet, consisting of a one-story restaurant with 180 seats, 2 service rooms, 1 kitchen, 3 storage areas, and 2 bathrooms, for the proposed configuration of the same square footage and capacity, but with 131 seats in the restaurant section and 49 seats in the lounge area. Issuance of said license is subject to ABCC approval and passing all local inspections.
Can I stop you this? I
Yes.
think we're gonna
Take that one
entertain the
separately.
motion separately, so.
Okay.
That's why I counted.
Yeah.
All right, second?
Okay, then, the motion's been made by Selectman DeCoste, seconded by Selectman Napoli.
Just, excuse me, you had one comment?
Yeah, I think it should be Friday and Saturday should be up till 10:30. That's what we wanted to.
Well, we can, you wanna withdraw the motion? We didn't discuss, that was what was on the application, or what was on the application here?
So
Now, it said 9:30 on the application.
Oh, sorry.
It's not too late to,
yeah, we can make a friendly amendment, right?
yeah, is that okay with the board
Oh,
members? Again,
absolutely.
I think it-
the discuss,
Yeah.
the topic did not come up in conversation. The written application asked for hours of operation 11:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. The intent was to have it to be till 10:30 p.m., correct?
Just for Friday, Saturday.
For Friday, Saturday, okay. And is that consistent with current operation? I don't think it makes any difference, but,
I think it's even later.
It's probably later now, right?
11:30 at most, right?
yeah, you might want to, after you have a few months of this, come back and want to change that again later, but do you want to make an amendment to your own motion?
Yep, so, I was gonna pick up for the sale of all alcohol beverages Monday through Thursday, from 11:30 to 9:30 p.m., Friday through Sunday,
Friday through Saturday.
Friday and
Sorry.
Saturday, okay, so Monday through Thursday and Sunday, from 11:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m., Friday and Saturday from 11:30 a.m.
It's 10:30.
to 10:30 p.m.
Thank you.
Okay.
Follow
Then
me,
I'll-
Steve?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. I'll accept that that was the motion as
Second that?
Second.
and seconded, okay. And the motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, I already read the notice for the second hearing, so
Just for the common vic?
this is for the common victuals license. Again, just for the record, we will open the public hearing on, again, the common victuals license. We've already heard your presentation, essentially. We have the same background material for that. Anything different you want to add? Change your story now?
I think we're okay with what we've got so far.
Pretty good.
All right, Chief, any change of heart back there? Okay. The public, once again, if you're okay with them getting a liquor license but don't want them to serve food, here's your chance to speak up. Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Motion's been made by Selectman DeCoste, seconded by Selectman Gerby to close the public hearing. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, now it's time for deliberation. The same issue with the licensed times arrive in this license as well, is that right? 9:30? You want to change that to 10:30 for Friday, Saturday
Yes,
as well?
please.
Okay. Board, public's aware of what we're doing here. The applicant wishes that their closing time on premises be 10:30 on Friday and Saturday nights for the common victuals license. And,
Move the Board of Selectmen vote to approve common victuals license for Littleton Restaurant Group Incorporated, Alvin Wong, manager, DBA Orchid Blossom at 584 King Street. Let's see. Subject to passing all local inspections for a common victuals license under Mass General Law, Chapter 140, Section 6, license for the same premises, subject to passing all local inspections. I get enough of that? I think I did.
I think I heard all of it. It's in spirit.
Heard everything I need to hear.
Yeah.
And the 10:30 on Friday, Saturday, yes,
With
right,
the-
okay.
Same hours. huh?
Same hours.
All right, do we have a motion, a second?
Second.
Motion's made by Selectman DeCoe, seconded by Selectman Napoli, for the common victuals license as amended prior to the motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations. Welcome to
you.
town.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, Selectman DeCoste is going to go join our friends on the Conservation Commission for a mutual topic of interest to us. That would be the Cloverdale parking?
Yes.
Okay.
And
But I
sorry,
think,
Mike.
thank you.
Wanted to compliment Diane, I think it's great.
Oh, terrific, thank you for
Wonderful
that.
to work
Yep, she's very thorough, efficient, and easy to work with.
Pleasure to
Yeah,
work with.
and
Thank
we
you.
appreciate you saying that. Diane out there in TV land, she'll be watching, she does our minutes off of the tape, so she knows you said that.
I'm
yeah.
on the record.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, I think this sets a record, 4 public hearings at the same time for the next applicants. And at any point you'd like to come up and join us, folks from Salute. And I will read, you know what, I'll look at them, I'm gonna read at least one of them in its entirety, and we'll see how much. Okay, legal notice, Board of Selectmen, public hearing, application for new all-alcohol restaurant license, Salute Incorporated, doing business as Salute. 1204 Constitution Ave, Littleton, Mass. 01460. The Board of Selectmen will conduct a public hearing on Monday, April 22nd, 2019, at 7:45 PM in the Littleton Town Offices, Room 103, 37 Shattuck Street, Littleton, Mass. 01460, to act on the application for a new all-alcohol restaurant license, Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 12, as requested by Deborah Carlson, owner-manager of Salute, Inc., doing business as Salute at the property located at 1204 Constitution Ave, Littleton, Mass. 01460. Premises for Salute Wine Bar shall consist of 1,710 square feet of the 2,210 square feet designated as L3-3, the Point Site Plan. Open space bar and table seating, 2 restrooms, including 1 handicap and storage kitchen. Seasonal outdoor seating area is proposed, consisting of approximately 300 square feet, sectioned off by planters. Access between Salute Wine Bar and Salute Retail Store is only open during operating hours of the retail store. The hours of operation of the Salute Wine Bar will be Tuesday to Thursday, 4 p.m. to 12 a.m., Friday, 4 p.m. to 1 a.m., Saturday, 2 p.m. to 1 a.m., Sunday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. The Salute Wine Bar may be open for private events on Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and during the remainder of the week prior to the regular hours of operation. That is Tuesday to Sunday from 9 a.m. to regular opening hours. A copy of the application is available in the Board of Selectmen, Town Administrator's Office, 37 Shattuck Street, Littleton, Mass. Comments thereon may be submitted in writing to the Selectmen Town Administrator's Office by noon on Wednesday, April 17th, 2019, or in person at the hearing. As I indicated, there are 4. I'm only going to read relevant different sections to the motions that appear in the other notices. So that first one was the wine and malt. No, that was the all out. Okay, so now, legal notice, Board of Selectmen public hearing, application for new wine and malt package store license, Salute, doing business as Salute. Public hearing on 7:45, application for a new wine and malt off-premises package license, Mass General Law, Chapter 138, Section 15, as requested by Deborah Carlson, owner-manager of Salute. Retail store shall be on 1 floor with 1 entrance and 2 exits. Premises for Salute Retail Store shall consist of 500 square feet of the 2,210 square feet designated as L3-3. Other stuff is redundant here. Hours of operation for the retail store will be Tuesday to Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Sunday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., and the rest of the comments are redundant. The third license sought is public hearing for common victualers license application, Salute Inc., doing business as Salute. Board of Selectmen will conduct public hearing again on Monday, April 22nd at 7:45. Common victualers license as requested by Deborah Carlson. Wine bar shall consist of the same square footage cited below. Seasonal outdoor seating area as described previously. Hours of operation of the Salute Wine Bar Restaurant will be Tuesday to Thursday, 4 p.m. to 12 a.m., Friday, 4 p.m. to 1 a.m., Saturday, 2 p.m. to 1 a.m., Sunday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. Salute Wine Bar may be open for private events on Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and during the remainder of the week prior to the regular hours of operation. That is Tuesday to Sunday from 9 a.m. to regular opening hours. Rest of the information is redundant. And finally, public hearing entertainment license application, again for Salute, doing business as Salute, April 22nd, 7:45, on behalf of Deborah Carlson, owner-operated. Proposed entertainment would include family-friendly live entertainment in the form of acoustic artists and live bands such as jazz groups, local a cappella groups, karaoke, and occasional stand-up comics. Non-live entertainment would include recorded music and 2 televisions. Hours of live entertainment would be Thursday, 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 9 p.m. to 12:30 a.m., Sunday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Potential additional hours may be for private events held on Monday from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. and during the remainder of the week on Tuesday to Sunday from 9 a.m. to the Salute Wine Bar's regular opening hours. Premises for Salute Wine Bar shall again consist of the same square footage cited before. And I think the rest of it is redundant. I'm going to propose to conduct this the same way we did the last one, with 2 hearings just for 4. 1 presentation under the first hearing for all topics. We'll try to cover all the information comprehensively, but for the record, we'll go through individually each hearing, just so the records record them independently, in case there's any issue that comes up with one item that doesn't affect the others. Okay, with that, anything, Steve, that we need in terms of introduction?
Nope, nothing.
All right, Chief Penard, anything to set us off on here? Okay. All right, then, applicants, if you'd welcome, and please introduce yourselves.
Great, thank you very much, I appreciate it. My name is Rob McGovern, I'm an attorney representing the proposed licensee. I'm here with Deb Carlson, she's the sole owner, operator, and proposed manager of record. Salute will be located at The Point. The address is 1204 Constitution Avenue. As you mentioned, we're applying for a new Section 12 all-alc on-premise beverage license, a common victual license, entertainment license, and a Section 15 off-premise retail beer and wine license. Salute is a new business venture for Deb Carlson. She's a longtime Littleton resident with extensive business, retail, and management experience. The establishment will consist of both with both a wine bar and retail store that will complement each other. The wine bar will be a brasserie-styled, wine-centric and charcuterie bar modeled after those found in the countrysides of France. Patrons will enjoy hand-picked wines from around the world and locally sourced craft beers in a relaxed atmosphere. Plates of cheeses, pâtés, cured meats, and other dishes will be available for an entirely customized experience. As you mentioned, with the entertainment we'll be having there, it'll be family-friendly live entertainment in the form of acoustic artists, jazz groups, local a cappella groups. Non-live will include recorder music, and we'll have 2 televisions included in there. For the retail side, it'll be an intimate specialty store showcasing select hand-picked wines from around the world, many of which will be featured in the wine bar portion of the establishment, and specialty food items will be sold there, such as cheeses, pâtés, chocolates and pastries. There'll be unique gift baskets, and associated wine products such as glasses, decanters, and bottle openers will be available for purchase. I was going to go through the premises description, but you did a very nice job of doing that, so I won't be redundant on that.
You might want to, just for the public, explain where in The Point you're located.
Sure, so it is in the southeast corner, right next to the movie theater. You've already also gone through the proposed hours of operation. If you'd like, I could go through them again.
You know, that's a matter of record, and if there's
Great.
any questions, we can come up with, according to that, we can address it then.
Fantastic. So there'll be approximately 6 to 7 employees we anticipate initially starting. Anyone handling or servicing alcoholic beverages will be tip certified or something of the equivalent. The employees that are working on the on-premise will be trained for on-premise service. Employees in the off-premise will be respectively trained for off-premise service and sale of alcoholic beverages. The anticipated opening date is June or July upon receiving the necessary permits that they'll need to operate. We believe that Salute will bring a unique, relaxed, and welcoming atmosphere to Littleton, which will be owned and operated by a longtime resident and small business owner. And we hope it will become a destination for the surrounding communities, and we hope you'll support this application. We have a number of signatures and letters of support that we submitted within our packet, and I believe we have a number of individuals who are in support as well. But we're happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, great. Deborah, you want to say anything by way of introduction of yourself to those that may not know you?
Well, I've lived in the area all my life. I'm from Acton, and I've lived in Littleton for 20 years. I've been in technology for quite a long time, and I wanted to do something different. I had an aunt who passed away in France, and I was able to spend a lot of time over there, and I enjoyed the wine bars over there, and I wanted to bring something of that to the U.S.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm going to start with Chief Bernard, if that's all right. You've had a chance to meet with the applicants?
Meeting the applicant, no, I have not.
You haven't?
No.
Reviewed the submitted information?
Yes, I've got all this information. The only question I have is you said tip certified or something they're equivalent of. I would say all people that are, all servers are gonna be tip certified.
Yeah, we have, absolutely, we have we've submitted our operations plan for employee certifications for serving alcohol. I believe it was just submitted about 2 or 3 days ago to Diane, so, yeah, it'll be tip certified, and I believe the other one was.
Diane had sent me
Campbell Shrimp.
another training facility, but if it needs to be tips, we can do tips. It's whichever you
That's all we
require.
Yeah, great.
So,
I think you haven't held a liquor license before in your name?
No, I have not.
Okay, so I think, especially in that instance, it's, that's probably the most pressing issue of precautionary concern we have is to make sure that alcohol sales and serving the public is done by folks that, if they're not experienced, at least they're trained.
okay.
And we ask you to cooperate with the police department on implementation of that.
Yep.
Chief Wodzinski?
The other thing that they will need, since they're gonna have the entertainment portion, is the crowd manager certificate. And that's through the fire marshal's office. I believe Diane included that with it.
She did, yes.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
So you've been duly warned and forewarned of everything you have to comply with. Okay, all right. And that's just us, I see the planning board lurking out there, you got.
I work in compliance, so I'm
All
okay
right.
with that.
Okay. Board member questions?
I have a couple. First, when I first heard about something else going into the point, and it was a restaurant, I had no idea what it was. Read through this, I'm very impressed with the whole idea. It's something different, I think it's gonna attract people. I love the idea. The only concerns I have right now are the same concerns we have with TACA, with outside seating, and how it's gonna be roped off, or how it's gonna keep people from going in. And on one of your drawings, I think it actually says express for outside seating, where someone can come right in and out in that section, so.
No, that's actually egress. My
Just
apologies.
the egress?
Yeah, that'll be an egress right there, just an emergency egress in case, there's any issues. But they'll be sectioned off by planters to make sure that people are not able to come in or out.
I think similar to what Great Road Kitchen does. We had planned the same type of planter.
Yeah, I have no
They use
objection to
their-
the idea, too. I love the idea. I just want to make sure that whatever section is sectioned off, so people can't come in and out in that area, that they would have to go into the main part of the restaurant and go out, like Anthony's Pizza has an outside type of thing. That's my only concern. I love the idea.
Yeah, I believe that's the intent. Anyone who's looking to enter or be seated in the outside portion, they'd have to go inside and check in. I don't know, I believe it might just be a spacing there, which will be sectioned off either by a rope or something of that nature, so they can, if necessary for fire safety, that they could exit.
We're fortunate to have a member of the planning board here present. Is that a requirement of site plan, Anna? Do you know offhand? And Ed, we have two of them here.
Site plan review is required.
require that anyway, right, okay. And so the building would have already been through site plan, these folks
Just a
notwithstanding, correct?
modification for outside seating.
Yeah, you might just want to check with Mr. Parker, whoever you deal with there, to, some of the obligations that you're already under just by virtue of moving into property that's been permitted by the planning board. Yep, I'm sorry, public, any input, questions, comments? You said you had supporters out there, let's hear from them. Yeah, sure. You're all welcome to speak. We love it. Just identify yourself, and I'll start, gentleman in the next row back, turning his head away from me now, where's you? Well, whoever wants us to just, please identify yourself and in turn. Sure, sir.
I'm Chris Carlson, Deborah's husband, so I'm not sure my input is somewhat biased, so.
You'll be out of the house a lot.
Yeah, she came to me with the idea, and I was very excited about it, so I'm behind her 100%.
Yeah, terrific, that's great to hear. Yes?
So I'm June Montepluso, a friend of Deb's, and she's been doing research for years to try to get something off the ground around this, and I know, as somebody who's lived in Littleton for almost 20 years myself, I'm really excited to have something different, not one of the usual restaurants, but someplace where you can go listen to some music and just kind of relax.
Terrific, good. Sounds good, anyone else want to add in, chime in? Sure, ma'am.
To add, I'm Patricia Angel, I'm a resident of Littleton since 1998, 20 years. And we've known Deb and Chris Carlson through high school, where they supported students from outside the country to come in and be in our Littleton school system. So they've brought a lot of culture from other countries to our children, which was really great. And I think this is going to be a really great addition to Littleton and the Point. It's a kind of a unique idea. So we support them. They're a great community family, and I think they're going to do a great job in Littleton.
Thank you. Other folks? Yes, sir?
I'm Scott Angel. I've lived in town since '98, but I did spend quite a few years in the restaurant business, and when Deb started describing her concept, it was just so refreshing and new, and not another sports bar, basically, not to throw anyone under the bus. But you look at the other properties up there, stores and restaurants, it's just a real nice compliment to what's going on in the Point, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Good. Anyone else back there want to join in?
Doug Peterson. My wife and I have been here since '91, so a little while. Yep. We've known Deb the same way through high school, through I coach youth hockey, and some of the kids that she had brought over from overseas have played for me in the fall. Kind of get the ball rolling, get to know her. As far as I'm concerned, you couldn't find a better resident to open up a small business in this town.
Good. Terrific. All right. Last call on plaudits. This doesn't usually happen, so you can.
I have good friends.
All right. Any other, while we're in the hearing mode, any other questions, comments?
I do have one, actually, not for the applicant. Stefan, if you don't mind, do you have a sense on sort of the build-out of the area to the west of where Salute would go, the timing on that, where you guys stand on that yet?
I don't have that.
Don't have that, okay. I mean, it doesn't really come to bear specifically on this application, just a curiosity, because I think it'll ultimately impact, you guys in a significant way once the rest of that build-out is complete.
All right, then the first order of business will be to close the first hearing, which is again on the, which one was the first one?
Before we start reading,
yeah,
do we want to dot the i's and cross the t's on the hours and all of that?
Yeah, as it was presented, you,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, that's accurate, thank you.
That's 4 different times you're gonna have, 4 different bites at the apple here, but, all right. And with that, then, the first hearing was, which we just held, would be for the all alcohol restaurant license. We're gonna need to close that, act on that license, and then go through the others in succession, so.
Move to close the all alcoholic restaurant license.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Selectman Gerbig, seconded by Selectman Knox to close the hearing. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, now deliberation on the all alcohol restaurant license.
Any samples?
It'd pretty much be everything up to the point where you get to two.
This one's actually divided.
It is divided, okay,
All right.
great. Someone want to read?
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the application for Salute, Deborah Carlson, manager, doing business as Salute, for 1204 Constitution Ave for an all-alcoholic restaurant license under MGL Chapter 138, Section 12, for the sale of all alcoholic beverages, wine bar, Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., Tuesday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 12 a.m., Friday, 4 p.m. to 1 a.m., Saturday, 2 p.m. to 7 p.m., and for private events, Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Tuesday through Sunday from 9 a.m. to regular closing hours on those days at premises described as 1,710 square feet of the 2,210 square feet designated as L3-3, the point site plan, with proposed open space bar and table seating. 2 restrooms, including 1 handicap and storage kitchen, including approximately 300 square foot outdoor seating area sectioned off by planters. Access between the restaurant and retail space will be open only during the retail store's operating hours. Issuance of said license is subject to ABCC approval and passing all local
I
inspections.
do believe there actually need to be a change on this. You have Saturday from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m.
I was wondering about
Yeah,
that.
so Saturday would be 2 p.m. to 1 a.m., Sunday would be 2 p.m., just because you're missing Saturday, I believe.
Chief, you okay with that? Okay, because there was another 1 a.m. in there
And
already.
Monday should be closed, actually, just for the Section 12 portion.
I believe we got these right off the application. That's, but we are not opposed to changing it on the fly either.
So to be clear, we're talking, as far as the Section 12 all liquor license is concerned, Monday closed.
Yep.
Tuesday
Through
through
Thursday.
Thursday, we're good, 4 to 12?
Correct.
Yep.
Friday, Friday 4 to 1, Saturday 2 to 1,
Yep.
and
And Sunday, 2 to 7 Sunday.
Sunday is 2 to 7.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
3 for 3.
Can I amend my own?
Yep, that's your motion as amended. Was there a second on that?
Hasn't yet been seconded.
No, wasn't it before you got in here? It was, wasn't it?
I second.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because the question came up after. Okay, so that's the motion made by Selectman Gerbig, seconded by Selectman Knox, as amended in the motion process. Any further discussion, board members? Okay, all right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Congratulations, 3 more to go. Wine and malt package store license, okay.
I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the application for Salute, Deborah Carlson, manager, doing business as Salute, for 1204 Constitution Ave pursuant to MGL Chapter 138, Section 15, for a wine and malt package store license for the hours of Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.?
5 p.m.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay, motion's been made by Selectman Gerbig, seconded by Selectman Napoli. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it.
You deliberately are closing the package store 2 hours before you close the restaurant, is that?
The bar, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The third motion then?
Move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the application for Salute, Deborah Carlson, manager, doing business as Salute for 1204 Constitution Ave for a common vittler's license under MGL Chapter 140, Section 6, license for the restaurant wine bar premises.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Selectman Gerbig, seconded by Selectman Napoli. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Guys have it.
Move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the application for Salute, Deborah Carlson, manager, doing business as Salute for 1204 Constitution Ave, pursuant to MGL Chapter 140, Section 183A, to approve an annual entertainment license to allow family-friendly live entertainment in the form of acoustic artists and small live bands such as jazz groups, local a cappella groups, karaoke, and occasional stand-up comics, as well as recorded music and 2 televisions. Live performances would be Thursday, 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 9 p.m. to 12:30 a.m., and Sunday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., with potential additional hours for private events, Monday, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., and Tuesday to Sunday from 9 a.m. to regular closing hours of the Salute Wine Bar. Issuance of said license is subject to passing all local inspections.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Selectman Gerbig, seconded by Selectman Knox on the entertainment license, right? Yes.
Yep.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
You guys have it now. Selectman DeCoste has arrived with an interesting inquiry.
My question is whether you've investigated the availability of malt and wine license.
Yes, we spoke with Diane, I believe there was one available when we
Okay.
submitted the application. Yeah.
We were hoping that it got through the vetting process with that question having been asked, but we've had some turnover, as you might or may not be aware, so we're second guessing ourselves, but all of this is subject to availability of a legal license.
Full disclosure, let you know that.
Right, and we are limited by the state, so, and you were back there, Stephen? I don't know if you guys keep score.
Yeah, I believe there's one available last time.
Okay, all right.
Because we had some conversations at the end of last year where we went to town meeting, we added
Right.
a license, and there was, we had people basically audition for it.
Right. So, assuming that's all fine, then you're fine, and you get the last one, grab it and run. If it's not accurate, then we've got a little bit of a problem on our hands, but anyway, good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too.
Is that because Falmouth's closed?
Oh, could be.
That's the only one that
That's
could
probably,
potentially-
that's
and
probably
That's
it.
only if they turned it in, so.
Mr. Chair, I don't think there's a full liquor license, I think there's a beer and wine.
Beer and wine, yeah, okay, and that may be a
Off-premise,
distinction too.
off-premise license.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we're down to, we're in perfect shape time-wise. Marijuana Licensing Working Group, 8:15. We've already taken a couple of items out, and then our last items are executive session for the board. But, Chuck, did you want to give us any update? You did, while we have the interim period here on your visit with the Conservation Commission?
Conservation Commission had a proposed plan for parking at Cloverdale. It consists of 5 9 by 17.5 spaces and 1 handicap space. The entrance to Great Road would be 24 feet wide, there'd be a 15-foot paved path from the edge of Great Road into the parking area, because the parking area is going to consist of grindings that DPW will produce over the course of their road work over the summer. The funding of the parking lot will be between $11,000 and $15,000. They're estimating that based upon the Oak Hill parking lot that was done a few years ago. And the funding will come from the Oak Hill Conservation Fund, which is from those homes that were built on, I believe. There's money left in that, which are, the application to the state has not yet been submitted. It's all subject to the state approving it. One of the concerns that I raised was the safety pulling out onto Great Road, onto that expressway there, coming from Acton, from 15 Great Road. Just in some of the research that I've done, people are flying down that hill. Chief's not here right now, but I would say that people are going upwards of 60 miles an hour coming down from, say, Grist Mill towards the center of town. And Mr. Pickard proposed that in the application, we asked the state to allow us to put signage up saying cars entering ahead or something to that effect, just to try to mitigate. Not that I think that necessarily does anything, but just so that the town isn't negligent by putting that parking lot in there and addresses the safety concerns.
Was there much public interest or anyone present?
There was some folks there, but not a whole lot of input. Jenna and Christine and Rob were there.
We're nature lovers.
Fair enough summary.
That's the warm-up act before the big show?
Anything from the wetlands, you know.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you for representing us. Thanks for coming back. All right. So now we're on to agenda item, unless the board members had any questions or points of inquiry?
No.
All right. Agenda item 7, marijuana licensing working group. We had presentation on the fine work done by our working group, which includes 2 of our own, Selectman Coast, Napoli, planning board members, Ed Mullen and Anna Houston, too. Huh?
Behind Chris?
Yeah, but all right, Chris is, good presence there in the key there. Chris Heap, town council as well. So, you folks did go back and make, I guess, some modifications?
We did.
Terrific.
Yep.
And we had some public input, by the way, too, by way of email to the board and that sort of thing through the administrator's office. And I don't know who wants to take the lead here, but one of you, if you want to present what your final proposal is?
I do. Okay, so what we did, first of all, there was some language that needed to be changed on page 2. There was some typos, and then just, it was specifically paragraph 5, we inserted the word may, meet applicants, and I think there was just one grammatical error. So we revised that paragraph based on comments. I can't remember what the other comment was.
If you want me to tell you. If you had up to with 2 finalists and within 14 days.
Right,
Could you help me
correct.
out with, that's both under
That's,
All under.
5?
yeah. Perfect. So we made those changes. We had a discussion regarding the non-retail and the retail RFI, and it was the consensus of the working group that we want to use the same format for both applicants coming forward, just to create continuity with respect to the documents that we're requiring and the way we're going to go about the interview process. One of the questions that we did have within the working group was originally, we had talked about having the working group review initial applications and then make proposals for applicants to come before the Board of Selectmen. There was some discussion in our last meeting. I know that Chairman Glavy had suggested that all applicants come before the Board of Selectmen and that we forego the working group. So we had some discussion about that because just trying to think of time management and uncertainty with the number of applicants that we may receive. Do we want to go that route, or do we want to leave it open, that it could begin with the working group and then it could be deferred to the Board of Selectmen as far as reviewing initial applications? Like, I think that's one piece of it we need to work out.
And I just happened to have a conversation with Ed. We were at a meeting earlier. He made me aware of your conversations, and I was happy at least with that alternative, that based on the volume we get, keep the working group active. If the board wants to, defer
Hand it off.
applicants, hand it off for review, do it that
Okay,
way. But
right.
reserve the right to, entertain the licenses if that's what the board at that time sees fit.
Right. So
The
sorry.
direction that I would, we already see all of our applicants for liquor licenses, right? So in terms of analogy, I'd rather the board be more involved, but what I am interested in is the working group making sure that, because this is a new process, whoever we get in front of us has a complete application put together. In other words, the working group is satisfied that all of the questions that can be answered have been answered without necessarily making a recommendation.
Right.
Does that?
No, that makes perfect,
is that-
and I think that's
For
more.
vetting and compliance, basically.
Right, and I think that's more in line with what our thought process was initially anyways. Because we don't want someone to come before the Board of Selectmen if they haven't crossed,
Right, if it's a half-baked.
dotted their i's and
I-
crossed their
yeah,
t's, you know?
I don't,
Jeez.
Well played.
I don't think
Have a joint
it
meeting?
serves our interest well to have that presented.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't want our decision-making authority.
That's what I was
Right.
coming down on mostly,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say that we just wanted to give the flexibility if in fact, we didn't want to stall the process, so we wanted to give the Board of Selectmen the flexibility to
Yep.
say, or designee, in essence, the designee would be the working group.
Yep, that makes sense.
So, if it, you know,
Well, as long as the underlying right to make a petition to the board is still there, and we
Right.
get to see applicants if that's what they want.
Right, and I do agree, if we end up with 30 applicants, then the working group winnowing it down to half a dozen makes a lot of sense. If we get 4 applicants, then just chat with them.
bring it, yeah.
Right, okay.
As long as they're 4 that are
Right.
complete and comprehensive.
On the changes, did you address adding the bylaw in paragraph 2 of the general document? Just adding in after adopted a zoning bylaw, talking about Mass General Law, Chapter 94G, the town of Littleton adopted a zoning bylaw, 173.
I did, yep. Isn't that on the first page, second paragraph? Adopt zoning bylaw,
Yep,
173.
I'm sorry, yep.
Okay.
Yes, it is in there.
Yeah, I just working with too many different copies.
No, I know. Believe me, I
The only
know.
thing that I would say though is in that language, I think we should be saying 173-184 through 173-202.
Correct.
Okay, instead of the end?
Right.
It should say through.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other input from our other working group members?
And the, oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, Cindy, I didn't realize you were finished.
No, that's right. The only other thing we changed too is on the last page, the number of copies to be submitted, we went from 9 to 10. That's on page 4. And then we can defer to Anna and Ed.
Sure, Anna?
That was it, right? Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, is that in there, local preference somewhere?
Where is it?
Hope so.
No, it is.
No, we definitely added it. Well, we made it more specific.
We added it. It's on page 4. It's the first paragraph. It reads, "A town task force or the Board of Selectmen will review our responses and in its discretion determine the order of preference. The Board of Selectmen expects that it will then invite prospective this is just for non-retail marijuana applicants to negotiate a host community agreement based on the order of preference established as provided above. Preferences may be given to local applicants." There's a footnote that says local preference is defined as applicants from Littleton or surrounding areas.
Is that council pass muster?
Absolutely. That's good.
The one question that I had raised this before is the requirement to have a traffic plan prepared by a licensed or certified traffic engineering firm. Is that,
It's required in the planning
CCC.
department.
okay, and that's what I was,
So it's required, it's gonna be required through our site plan review. anyway.
okay, so I might as well get it done.
It's touched, yeah.
I have a question. If you would mention getting 30 applicants, if you were to get 30 applicants and others, the board doesn't want to see that many, do we have specific criteria that the working group would work on to narrow that 30 down to whatever? I guess I'm saying, would you come back and say, if this person met everything, this person?
It's part of the application review process on page 3.
Page 3?
Yeah.
I missed it. Yeah, that's good enough.
So, in addition to that language, if you want to take a look at the the first page, under
your agenda item, it's a proposed calendar.
Yes.
And under there, the task force reviews submitted forms from the applicants and based on town scoring process. So there is an established scoring process that the town can undertake for any sort of RFQ or in this case RFI, that will allow us to be able to say not only did they address each of the different criteria, but also which one is going to be the most advantageous to the town. So that would be, in this case, 1, 2, 3, the 8th item down.
Eighth item down, the calendar, you say?
Where are you looking at? Yep. Oh, the 8th item down on there. The current, or the date listed on here is Wednesday, May 15th.
Yeah.
Friday, May 17th. So that's where it talks about it.
Okay,
so-
but again, that assumes that the, that the decision's been made to refer it to task force too.
Right, right. But in terms of the criteria that Joe was just talking about, and being
Oh,
able
there
to
it is.
then.
Yeah, it's in, I don't,
Address
did you
it.
guys, that was,
It's in the
should have been part
packets.
of that, okay.
And so in that regard, the item that says task force interviews top applicants and recommends 2 applicants to meet with BOS would only be if we, the Board of Selectmen, decide to delegate that authority to the working group.
Correct.
Okay.
And so realistically, based on this time frame, I mean, obviously, everything needs to be updated based on dates, but we could be looking at the opening of a retail establishment in the late fall to late fall. No way?
No way.
Okay.
No way.
They couldn't get through the state.
Yeah, right,
Approvals
state.
they need to get for the state.
Oh, okay, so this idea that
It's
it would only take a month or 2 to get through CCC is unrealistic. Okay.
Oh, what kind of dream?
Soonish.
Early 2020.
Okay.
At the most exciting.
And the rate limiting step is more the CCC than it is.
No, you guys are pretty darn slow, I gotta say. And the 4-week window for the request is awfully long.
Okay, I'm about to open it for input, so that you're right in the right place at the right time.
I just have one more
Yeah, I
comment,
just wanna
Mr.
get
Chair.
Presentation first.
Sure, just one more thing that we talked about with the task force is we've gotten many inquiries via email that have been put into a chart.
Yes.
We came up with an information request form. We'd like to go back to the people that have requested,
Contact them, yeah.
made inquiry, have them fill out the form and send it back to us instead of weeding through an email chain and trying to piece all the information together. This way, we can go back to them and say,
You need to fill this out too.
you need to fill this, and then we'll have it all consolidated in one form, just to make sure we're not missing anybody or missing any information.
So somebody will pass that information along to Diane or Anthony? Right. Okay. So is that it in terms of presentation? I'll open up and see if there's any public input on that. Great. Okay, so, Christine?
Yeah, the open interest, is there a reason that it's a month long? The month for, request for interest open to the public for 4 weeks. Would you guys consider making it 2? And girls and ladies?
You're talking about the timeline?
So I'm just gonna jump in here with my own opinion. I think that if we settle on a process, and this is the process we're going to follow, I think that we can very much just open it up, and as applicants come in, we can take a look. And if we come across an applicant that we feel comfortable with and ready to move forward with, we can get them in front of the Board of Selectmen or whoever the appointing authority is. I don't think we have to, I don't know that we have to wait a
Right.
4-week period to get as many applicants as we can in front of us.
Right.
So I'm open to that discussion where we open it, we have
It may
the
take,
process
it
in
may take
place.
a month for us to see the volume of returns, schedule a hearing on our end, but I mean, as far as giving the public, I mean, these people are, you guys, people are interested, are all teed up, ready to go anyway, so that part of it probably.
And paying rent,
Hmm?
and paying rent, and, you know, like, the longer it goes on, the more financial risk it causes for people who haven't even had the opportunity to apply yet, you know? So it is it's a thing.
For the sake of clarity to applicants, then, I would suggest we amend that. It says request for interest open to the public for 4 weeks and reviewed on a rolling basis or something like that. So that everybody's got the same information. We'll review it as soon as it comes in. It could be advantageous to you to submit it in week 1 instead of week 4.
But
Yeah,
once,
or review.
once you say 4 weeks, don't you, somebody comes in 3.5 weeks later and says, you didn't give me the opportunity to finish my work. So I don't know whether maybe we should have a set date, whether it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever.
We can do that, I mean, this is, we're kind of setting the rules.
Is there anything that we're requiring that is time-consuming enough that people would need more than a couple of weeks to, get their package together?
I think to your point, Paul, anybody that is interested in Littleton right now is interested in Littleton right now.
Right.
They're waiting for us to make our move.
Right.
So that they can come forward.
Right, and there's
So-
nothing, no curveball in this
No.
language that's gonna cause them to go back and.
And I think just to go off of what Chase was just saying, instead of saying request for interest open to the public, we could add some language and will be reviewed at the Board of Selectmen's.
As
or
submitted.
at- Chris, you can probably help with some language here, as the Board of Selectmen is able to, or, just to kind of give us the perception of the rolling applications, but we don't meet every day. We're not full-time cannabis applicant reviewers.
Well, we open it in such and such a date, and we won't begin entertaining the license applicants any earlier than whatever date that's 2 weeks from that. Realistically, we won't get it on our agenda for,
Well, I mean,
few weeks
at
anyway.
this point, we've got town meeting in a few weeks anyway. I mean, it's gonna be in the middle of May before we're reviewing
Period,
these.
yeah.
If we allow it to be. And we can take action right now.
Well,
We
that's
can-
true, yeah.
That sort of goes to the question, though, of whether you, the Board of Selectmen, are looking at these applications first, or whether the working group is looking at them first. And if we're getting into the question of timing, we may want to put a finer point on that.
I go back to, we create the language that says the Board of Selectmen or designee will review the applications. If we get flooded with 40 applications,
Then we
then
can,
we can,
it's a slower process, we hand it back to the review committee to go
right, but
through them.
if we get a half dozen solid, or just half dozen applicants, and we feel it's worth us moving forward, then, yep, we can schedule an off-scheduled meeting, albeit in
That
the
actually.
shadows of town meeting.
Yeah, but I like the idea of doing a separate meeting, particularly for the degree of public involvement and public interest that this may garner.
Yeah.
It may be wise.
First time, we'll do it slowly and methodically, yeah. Well, then why not a two-week period? I mean, what the heck, is that any harm in that? Is there anybody who expects that will,
I mean, we've already got, what, half a dozen to a dozen inquiries? Let's see who's out there, see who wants to pull the trigger, and go from there.
it's probably gonna take another couple of weeks for us to schedule.
Well, I
a meeting
think
of our
some
own,
of the
at least we'll know.
information, though, that we may be asking for, it might take more than 2
Well,
weeks
that's what I was
for
asking
some
earlier,
people
is
to
there anything in
compile.
the process that we're,
It might, I mean, I know that there's some applicants who've been very diligent in doing their homework and are ready to go, but I think there's some other applicants that might need a little time to, I can't say they can't get it done in 2 weeks, but I think reviewing them as they come in and taking them under consideration and keeping it open for 4 weeks, I think that process works fine.
But why limit it to 4 weeks? What if we have 6 applicants come in, and we go through the vetting process, and out of those 6, we find 1, we find 2, we find none? If we just keep it open, the Board of Selectmen will start reviewing applicants.
can it be worded that way, Chris, without,
Until
are we
further
under any
notice.
obligation to put a finality to it?
until further notice or something like that, where there is, it's not a time certain right now, but if we get 0 applicants between now and 4 weeks, then we're,
No, this process is wide open. You can set whatever time limit for applications to come in that the board wants. It could be 2 weeks, it could be a month, it could be 6 weeks. You could look at them on a rolling basis or not. I think it's
Right,
have
so-
a wide range of flexibility here.
Right. So why don't we say all, requests for interest will be considered and reviewed on an ongoing and timely basis?
Ongoing basis, timely is kind of a judgment call.
Okay. On an ongoing basis? And just get rid of the 4 weeks?
I'm just kind of, yeah, we open the gates. We're not gonna act any quicker than 2 weeks, and from then on, we just deal with them as they come in. And if you hit pay dirt with a couple of early ones that we like right off the bat, boom, we're done until another license opened up. If we don't like them, then it's open until we do like them, right?
Any comments from,
No, that's exactly the intent.
okay,
That's it, okay.
all right.
Yeah, okay, now formally, public input. Sir, identify yourself, and anyone else who wants to chime in.
My name is Sankar Gautam. I presented my non-retail cannabis testing laboratory case for the Board of Selectmen previously. Is the licensing for retail, non-retail going to be capped on the same category, or the retail and non-retail licensing is separated? Will my application be considered for testing laboratory is a non-retail, being a non-retail entity? Will that license be capped with retail?
We don't have any caps on.
Yeah, we don't have a limit on the type of license that you're
And,
applying
my follow-up question to that would be the traffic, certified by a traffic engineer, even in cultivation or testing laboratory case, that would be kind of non-applicable. Is the Board of Selectmen offering a waiver, or the planning board offering a waiver for that case, or is that a mandatory procedure?
So through the chair.
Yep.
Typically, any application for new business in an area, you have to do site plan review.
Ed Mullen, Vice Chair of the Planning Board.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Introduction by someone else is always better. Site plan review is required. Traffic isn't always required. Traffic in this scenario of retail establishments, because of what we've seen in the state, and it's also a requirement through the state to provide it as well. In your scenario, I don't think that we would require a traffic study. That being said, I think you might be in the same location as a retail establishment, may or may not be being proposed, so you might already have one available.
Thank you.
And so in that regard, the Board of Selectmen would be willing to accept an application to enter into an HCA from a non-retail entity that does not have a traffic study, is that right? Essentially, we want to match what the planning board is going to require.
Chris?
Well, what I was going to say is, you're not necessarily going to be in a position to have that conversation with the applicant before they need to get the application to you. So, just a suggestion, you might want to, in the non-retail one, say, at the applicant's election, they can do a traffic study or not do a traffic study at their own risk. Submit the application, and then you can make a determination whether that's okay or not when you start your review. So,
yeah, that's a good proposal.
Okay.
If I can just interject.
Sure.
The CCC, I think this is what Jen is going to say. I don't think it is a requirement of the CCC, Chris, you can catch me. It's not a requirement to present a traffic study. If our site plan approval requires it, that's a local, more stringent.
Okay, so that's the reason. Well, that was what was stated earlier anyway.
But the point that a lab would not need a traffic study makes perfect sense. They're substantively different than a retail study.
Correct. Okay.
Any other? There's not a lot of labs popping up around the state, so they could be pretty.
And nobody goes to them anyway.
Right.
All right,
Public
so
comment, any more public comment, questions?
When do we submit? Noon tomorrow?
Well, assuming.
I mean, we open at 8.
We'll see how the vote goes in a little bit, but that'll indicate the open period.
You open at 8?
I thought it was 9.
Oh, is it 9?
Isn't it 8:30?
But Chase is.
Some people here, Steve's here at 8.
Schools hours at
Steve's
8.
here at 8. Stay tuned, the vote will dictate that, won't it?
I assume so.
Okay, all right.
I hope so.
Okay, any other members of the public before we close public input and go to board deliberation? All right, then, what's the pleasure of the board?
Actually, Mr. Chair, there was one comment that came in by email today from a prospective applicant about the application materials being posted on the website. And actually, I talked to Chris about this briefly by email today. I don't know if we had any more clarification on that.
Not yet. No.
Okay.
I'm still working on that.
Okay,
There's no reason, and well, I guess what I'd say is, there's no reason we have to post all the application materials on the website if we don't want to.
Right.
But all the application materials that are filed with the town are going to be public records.
Right.
Unless there's some exception to, I would say, some of the application materials might be subject to an exemption from the public records law, but I can't answer that question.
okay. So my next question was going to be as far as financial records. I know when you file, we do electronic filing with bankruptcy. We redact everything but like the last 4 digits of the social security number and information like that. So it's, some of the information is partially redacted. Would that still interfere with the open records law, or?
Honestly, I don't know all of the information that is going to come into these applications. I know the application, the list of application materials we've submitted, but I don't know what that's going to look like when it comes in from the applicants. So we can look further into what would be public and what would not.
Right. I guess my question is, could we say to them that they're permitted to redact social security numbers and things like that, or we still don't have that answer?
I don't know. I guess the question is, why do we need the social security number?
Right.
Yeah,
No, I know, but
I'd
I'm
rather
just
us
saying.
not have the Social Security
No,
number.
so if they're submitting
Liability.
financial records, I guess we could say to them, don't submit anything with your personal identification numbers on it,
Maybe
which,
we want to think harder about what financial information we, as the town of Littleton, need from the applicants. 'Cause I don't know why we would want social, other than having filled out Corey forms, I don't know why we would want social security numbers.
Right.
From people on financial documents.
right,
For
which we
this kind of
don't.
application.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it can be required independently through the police review, right, on the courier.
Yeah, the query is separate. I just wanted clarification on the financial piece, the financial record piece of it. That's all.
We need to think a little bit harder about what
Okay.
application, what information we're going to take in, and whether it will be exempt from, we certainly don't need to publish it, but whether it would be exempt from disclosure if we ask for it.
Okay.
under the public records law.
I gotcha. Okay.
Anna, you had something to add?
Sure, so in terms of getting applicants filing their applications right away, they have a question about public notice posting. If there is a formal RFI process, does the town actually have to post that anywhere? And if so, what are the days to have to do that? So my question is, do we have to do that?
Again, back to council, I guess I don't think we are, right? But
This is not a formal RFP, but, so, we're putting out a request for information and people can respond to it. I would not, however, but if the purpose of the RFI is to invite the world to come in and submit applications to the town of Littleton in the hopes of finding the best one, I wouldn't necessarily suggest that we accept applications before this goes public. I mean, this should be published, this should be distributed, and then the application material should be invited to come in after that. You can review them on a rolling basis, certainly, but no application should get filed with the Board of Selectmen before this has been published and made,
by published, you mean published where? Because I mean, we talked about a website and the public posting here on the bulletin board, but I mean, we weren't thinking about going to the newspapers.
No,
or
no,
were we?
that'll do. But I
Okay.
think if the purpose is to invite people to submit applications, I think this should be up somewhere, and by that, I mean, I think the
Okay.
website, before the town accepts any applications.
So, all right, so maybe we'll
Okay,
make the
gotcha.
vote contingent on that, it'll be 2 weeks from the period, from when it was posted, then record the time that the day and time it was recorded. Or posted, rather.
I think if we commit to posting it on a certain date, then
Applications could come in
anytime they're out.
30 seconds after you post it to the website, but I would have it up first.
Okay.
So I wouldn't necessarily, we can set an expectation that we want to
Yeah,
post by
that's why I would
Friday.
set a date, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Right.
Okay, but we just need to make sure that actually happens.
I just don't want to push it 2 weeks out if we can in fact do it by Friday.
We repeat again, we've had a lot of turnover.
Okay.
This is our interim.
Interim prime.
Yes, Christine?
So about the privacy stuff, you know, business plans are highly proprietary and
Right.
private. There are things in the RFI, like floor plans and things like that that are not necessarily part of the security plan, which is the only thing that you said out loud that you're gonna keep private. So it is a concern. The entire proposal talks about operations and security procedures. So the way that the CCC has done it is they post an executive summary on CCC stationery, has the names of everybody, you know, who's invested or involved, the name and location of the business, and then it's essentially like a written checklist. The security plan was in compliance, this was in compliance, this was in compliance, and so it shows that there was due diligence done on the part of the CCC, but that's not all, none of the information that the applicants have submitted, aside from their names and very, you know, minute information, is on the internet.
Chris?
That I can answer. I mean, that's,
The
there's
public
two
records
separate
thing,
questions.
yeah.
The town can publish as much or as little information on the website that it receives from applicants as it wants to, and it doesn't need to post any of it. But all of the documents that the town takes in as part of that application materials are public records.
Right.
Those are going to be, you know, physically on file in somebody's office, and if somebody wants to come in and ask to pull the file and take a look at it, they will be entitled certainly to look at the floor.
And that was true when we went through the growing facility too.
Right.
Yeah.
Floor plans and business plans will be absolutely public records, open for inspection by anybody who's interested in seeing them. Which may be nobody ever.
But not security
security.
and not on the
Security's
internet,
not.
right? Because the internet is the thing that, it's the keys to the
Well-
kingdom, you know?
Right. But the piece of that is, and if it comes before the Board of Selectmen, it's part of our meeting packet, right?
Doesn't have to.
Yeah, I mean,
Doesn't have to be.
but all that, you know, there are two levels. I mean, we don't have to make the extra effort to actually go and put it on the internet. It can just be available at the office. I mean,
Okay.
that's sometimes, you know, the case. I mean, we can just simply include the list of applicants, you know, and
Okay.
if you're interested, come in and, I mean, am I correct, Chris, on that?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if someone does do a public records request,
They can get it.
Yeah.
they can come in and view it. If they request a copy, they can get a copy.
Yes.
We have 30 days to
14
10.
14,
10.
a window in which we have to present it to them.
To review the
I would
request.
argue though that if we have members of the public coming in to review these applications as prep for our hearing associated with them, that we wouldn't want to drag that out to the maximum extent allowable by law. You know, we would want to produce that pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, it doesn't really become public until we get it, right?
Correct.
Right, so it really doesn't get released until we, you know, are entertaining it.
Once it's been filed with
Okay, let's,
you as the permit, not permit, but, you know, the board that's responsible for conducting this exercise, once it's filed with you, it's a public record. Which, again, doesn't need to be published.
so even if we don't, you know, for whatever reason, get around to entertaining that applicant for a period of time, as soon as it lands in the office, it's public record?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not as soon as it's subject to a public hearing or it's part of one of our agenda, it's an agenda item or something for us. Once it comes into our possession, wow.
We could very easily have people running around seeing these things before we do.
That is possible.
You know.
That's Goofy.
Okay.
All right, are we anywhere near making a motion?
I hope so.
And some of that stuff may not appear in the motion, but understood, it's a matter of record, some of the things we just talked about. Unless you want to try to incorporate all the little pieces we just talked about, what to put on the end of that, what not, blah, blah,
Right,
blah.
I can
A
give
date
it,
certain, all those things.
yeah, I don't know if I should just put in as amended, as discussed during deliberation, or, all right, so I'll put it out. Oh, wait, is that it?
That's, it was in the PowerPoint.
Oh, all right, perfect. Move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the RFI for retail and non-retail marijuana establishments prepared by the Marijuana Task Force and direct that those documents be posted in a designated area on the town's website as part of the RFI process for both retail and non-retail marijuana establishments.
Do you want
So
to,
before,
Oh.
so after the word task force and amended by the Board of Selectmen on 4/22? I mean,
Wait, say it
what-
again.
So you wanted to incorporate any amendments that we made tonight?
Yes, yeah,
So after the word task force, the establishment prepared by the marijuana task force,
comma,
and amended by the Board of Selectmen on 4/22.
okay.
and do we want to say that posted in a designated area on, what, tomorrow's date? And then, the period be open for,
Just give me time to make the revisions.
okay, all right, you weren't making that as a motion, you were just reading it then, or?
Oh, yeah,
That
no,
was
the
that
motion's
was the
one
motion,
thing,
That was the amendment with,
right.
You gonna make further amendments to add in a date?
No,
certain?
but we can have this on the town's website by Friday. Is that what you're asking?
that would be my expectation.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
And then, well, shouldn't the motion reference that?
Yeah.
And then also the 2-week period that we're talking about?
Well, did we cover that as amended by the Board of Selectmen on 4/22?
Would that cover it, or?
I understood that to be something the board generally agreed to, yeah, I think.
Yeah, okay,
Okay, all right, so that would be covered in the, all right. good.
all right.
We good with that motion, Chris?
Yeah.
Ish. Soonish?
Do you want, Cindy, are you going to make changes, or do you want me to give it one last review? I don't think there's much, but.
I'm a fan of Chris giving it one last review.
Yeah.
No offense, no offense, Cindy.
I can-
No,
I can do
I'm
that
totally
before
fine with
Friday,
that.
So, I'd say as amended by the Board of Selectmen at the meeting on 4/22.
Okay.
And subject to, final edits from town council.
Perfect.
Second.
And then you're gonna throw in the date certain,
No, these changes come in from the.
posting date, rather?
Yep. All right, great.
Well, I think you're gonna reread it, right, or?
Does she have to?
Well, it doesn't include the date, we haven't got that in there.
All right, what's the date Friday?
26th.
Thank you. No. All right, let's do it again. Move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the RFI for retail and non-retail marijuana establishments prepared by the Marijuana Task Force and amended by the Board of Selectmen on April 22nd, and subject to final edits by town council, and direct that those documents be posted in a designated area on the town's website as part of the RFI process for both retail and non-retail marijuana establishments no later than April 26th, 2019. Does that work?
Yep.
All right, good.
Second.
Okay, the motion then has been made by Selectman Napoli, seconded by Selectman DeCoste. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, so, Friday, submit, and our anticipation is that within 2 weeks, we will start looking them over and act on them quickly.
Great.
Anna and Ed, thank you very much. for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thanks for your input. No.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, I actually did notice that we do have minutes in our packet.
From the 8th?
Yeah, from the 8th, although the page, I only had one page. Is this the end of it, or does it go beyond the 7:15?
I don't think we had one.
Yeah, and then we've got executive session minutes too, but I'll speak to that in a moment. But they were at the back. I've only got like two sides of one page, but it almost looks like it breaks off in the middle. Yeah, anybody who's got a digital copy, please. It might be at the end of.
It's 3 pages.
3
pages.
It is 3 pages? Okay, I didn't see the. Okay, see, you're right, that was, it might be at the end of,
It's at the very end.
Oh, it is, it is, no?
No, I'm at the very, very end.
Oh, there it
it's
is.
under the previous item, right?
It's 5 pages.
Right, 3 sheets of paper, 5 pages, all right.
Yeah, but where's it located?
It's on, yeah, it's on PDF.
It's right after the warrant article. I actually didn't review it, being honest.
I had it?
I thought I wasn't going this time. I mean, I wasn't there.
Well, you weren't there, so you're kind of cool anyway. Look, a good portion of it is just recapping all the names of the articles, so there's not a heck of a lot,
Oh,
Road
nine.
improvements by Chris, he kept all that.
what's that?
I'm just going over it.
Yeah. So if the board feels comfortable, we can vote on that. If you don't, if you didn't have a chance to look at it and want to look at it again, we can delay on that.
2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. Madam Clerk, then, do you want to?
Certainly. Move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the meeting minutes of April 8th, 2019.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made by Selectman Napoli, seconded by Selectman Knox. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All
Aye.
opposed? All right, as I said, it was included in our packet. It's not distinct here, but we have executive session minutes too. Everybody saw that in your packet at the beginning. I would just ask that whatever motion we make to go into executive session, why don't we just amend that so that we have both the purposes of discussing voting the minutes and the executive session minutes, and to discuss the value of land litigation strategy with counsel. And the intention would be to adjourn afterward. We don't need to return to open session, do we? Oh, okay. So, does someone want to make that motion?
Sure. Move that the Board of Selectmen vote pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21, subsection A, Clauses 3 and 6, to convene an executive session to discuss strategy with respect to litigation. Since an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the board, and to consider the value of real property, since an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the board's negotiating position relative to Cooper Farm, and not to convene an open session thereafter.
Second.
Okay, the motion's been made by Selectman Napoli, seconded by Selectman DeCoste. This requires a roll call vote, so Selectman Napoli,
Aye.
Selectman Gerbig,
Aye.
Selectman DeCoste.
Aye.
Selectman Knox.
Aye.
Selectman Glavy says aye. Good night, folks, thank you.